Great American Landowner. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 788. News is out. When Jay Chou was shamelessly flirting with Zhang Yi, Jun Jihan was still thinking about him. Almost all domestic media, whether paper or online, reprinted the news from Capital Entertainment Weekly, or bought pictures, and made up their own stories. They quickly broke the news that Zhang Yi had a new love. Capital Entertainment Weekly really did not promote the paparazzi in vain. The Birdman's writing was really fascinating. From a reporter's perspective, he analyzed the situation in all aspects. He took photos at the airport. In the end, he left a fragment of the story. So stay tuned. There will be more explosive news in the next issue, and photos of the two of them being intimate. Zhang Yi went to the United States to meet her new boyfriend. Zhang Yi and a mysterious man. A mysterious rich man met Zhang Yi in the United States. Zhang Yi. All kinds of headlines were posted on the internet and in paper newspapers. Whether it was a color newspaper targeting students or a small magazine, almost all of them had this news. It's just a matter of size. Even the morning newspapers and evening newspapers in a certain city have Zhang Yi's new love on the front page subheadings. These words have similar meanings, but are much clearer and more harmonious. State-owned enterprises and local units should be conservative in this regard. Making up stories will easily cause problems. However, they must keep up with the times. The entertainment section of their newspapers must be a photo of Zhang Yi and Jess's neck. It's just that each newspaper has different selections. Of course, some people choose the same ones that have been exposed in order to save money. In this way, the reprint fee is also reduced. Reporters have to keep pressing the shutter button for every action. What do you think it is for? In addition to taking good pictures, of course, different angles are needed to be selected by different media. On several large portals, this piece of information is climbing up rapidly and has the potential to reach the top. Its little penguins have already sent small square recommended news to this news. Everyone can see this news when they turn on their computers. Some people never pay attention to this, but when they see the name of International Zhang, they will click in to take a look out of curiosity. Some time ago, Zhang Yi made a lot of headlines, and the most influential thing about her reputation was the ink splashing door. A little more advanced news is that, because of the Snowflower Honey fan casting change, the movie that originally scheduled her as the protagonist and producer was suddenly replaced by Li Bingbing, and she even quit the position of producer. This also involves a lot of people. One of them is the news that she and Deng Wendy are suspected of falling out, which was reported by even foreign media. In addition, she invested part of the film herself and acted as the producer and the leading actor. After the filming is completed, she must need exposure. In this way, she has to start promoting it, so she has been in the news again, occupying a lot of sections in the entertainment section. Unexpectedly, it has only been a short time, and the movie is still being promoted, and the incident has not yet settled. There is new news about her boyfriend. It seems that this woman has not broken up for a long time. Many netizens were still quite interested in what kind of man she had changed to. They were willing to spend 2 minutes watching the excitement. Netizens from China, Penguin, Baidu Tiba and other places discussed it. It's for movie hype. I know it at a glance. This is too old-fashioned. There is no new trick. If the man is changed into a woman and said to be a lesbian, I think this is a very creative hype. Maybe it will be on the front page. Netizen Rotex said, the person above is a lesbian. I'm sure it will be confirmed. Oh, I didn't expect I can still be so ahead. Kanming, I want to leave my signature. You said it should be more than 15 characters. Experience is in hand. Sister, I'm leaving. Shurufan wrote. The person above is actually a woman. I'm going to fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. Fuck her. SB. The netizen wrote after the name was confirmed. Actually it doesn't seem like hype. Did you see the smile in the photo? They really look like lovers. I'm so anxious. Capital Entertainment Weekly is such a rip-off. These are only the first batch of photos, and they say below that we have to wait. www. There are full sets of photos on this website. Don't ask who I am. My name is Lei Feng. The guy above is destined to be impotent. No medicine can help. This man seems to look very young, but he has a great figure, and he dresses very fashionably. His profile in that photo is really handsome and stylish. International is international. Getting rid of that short guy is the right choice. Look, she is still very attractive. She took away such a handsome boy. I'm not willing to accept this. I'm not willing to accept this. Sister, I'm here. My brother's questions number is 10,410,410,104. There are photos in the space. I guarantee you will be satisfied and comfortable. If you are interested in hooking up, please contact me. I'm Brother Payo, and I'm representing my younger brother. Netizen wrote. Please support me. Please take me away. The guy above is ugly. Sister, choose me. Choose me. I promise you won't regret it. I promise you will reach the top. My skills are not just talk, but action. If you don't believe me, you are welcome to check at any time. I want to check if you are healthy. The guy above must have a sexually transmitted disease. He is so bold, he will definitely not end well. Goddess of Justice wrote. The people here are going off topic, but the little penguin over there is discussing normally. Many people directly paid attention to the official Weibo of Capital Entertainment Weekly. I heard that they will post some unreleased photos on Weibo. Now netizens who want to gossip came, some came and left, and some came and added fans. Updating one photo a day is a benefit for those who follow. Just this made this Weibo account go from 50,000 fans to more than 100,000 fans. It was only a day later, and hundreds of thousands of fans came, which almost made the fat boss ejaculate on the spot. This shows that the gossip heart of China is really strong. On the second and third days, as the news spread, this account would continue to gain followers. As the next issue of the weekly magazine came out, he could already imagine that by then, it would sell several times more than the first issue. People on Weibo had already started to apply for pre-orders, and they could even transfer the money directly to the magazine. As long as they sent the telegram directly to them, they would say there were kissing pictures and the man's identity. Chapter 789. Two people from the Zhang family. Chapter 789. As for Zhou Jixi's identity, their magazine can only hope that the majority of netizens will not find out who this person is so quickly. They have not put the name in, just worried that netizens will dig out this man with such little information. They also pretended to be mysterious, saying that this man is a rich man, and a very rich man. The most important thing is that he is not a second generation, and most of this money is earned by his own efforts. As for the identity, anyway, they just said that this way netizens will be more interested. Young and rich, the man is also very handsome. These are all good news to attract everyone's attention. With a big name like Zhang Ziyi, it is already very good that they don't have to do 3 issues of the report. If Zhou Jixi has not been a little popular in the United States recently, and the fat boss is afraid that someone will snatch the exclusive, they can do 4 issues a month and gradually push up the sales of the magazine. After the news on the internet and the news in the paper media came out, the old man of the Zhang family in the capital saw it in the newspaper, and so did Zhang's mother. Looking at the daughter in the picture and the caption, and the man next to her, with their reading glasses, they could tell that the man was none other than Jay Chou. My daughter is really great now. She went to the United States right after the filming of the movie. I knew that this child would be a relief. Look, I think this thing will work out. The old lady said with a smile, patting the newspaper. You're really a big shot. They can't be called just friends. You're sure they're in a relationship just because they hugged each other's necks. You're really a big shot, old woman. Father Zhang took a closer look with his reading glasses and refuted. Old man, I'm just saying this. Why are you so excited? Really, you're not allowed to say anything. Do you think I can really call Jess and argue with him? Mother Zhang rolled her eyes at her husband. We won't interfere in the affairs of the 2 children, so as not to make things worse. I know this matter much better than you do. Okay. It's okay as long as you know it in your heart. Also, don't call Jess all the time for no reason. You're never stopping. Last time, he was still in a meeting, and you called him. I heard him say sorry to him in English, and you didn't even hang up, waiting to continue chatting with him. The old man started talking again. Zhang's mother couldn't stand hearing what he said. She put the dishes on the table and looked at Zhang's father. I say, old Zhang, what's wrong with me talking on the phone with Jess? He is a big boss. What can he do when he is in a meeting? If there is something important, he will say it himself. Don't talk about it first and call me later. If it is not important, he will continue to talk to me. You don't know the situation, so don't talk casually. You woman, I just want to say one thing. Why do you just talk about it? I'm not afraid of braids when I'm right. Jess wants to buy a house in the capital. I'm not helping him to find a house, so I called him. How can I not see the business? So this is not business. Last time, he was also in a meeting. He didn't answer directly, and I didn't call him again, waiting for him to finish the meeting before calling back. Mom, what's wrong with my dad? When Zhang Zilan entered the door, she saw the old lady talking to her old man. It's obvious that her old man must have flirted with the old lady again. This old man never said anything good about me. I just said one word, and he kept telling me to be careful, not to do this, not to do that. I called Jess to talk about the house, and this old man still scolded me. Tell me, is your dad a decent person? He really pissed me off. When Zhang's mother saw her son, she immediately expressed her pity. The old man has a stubborn temper. He is not a mother of children. He will complain about everything. The children will feel sorry for him and obey his mother. He is not old enough to let go of his stubborn temper and become an old child like his old friend. Zhang Zilan's head began to hurt again as his mother had said. He quickly reached out to help the old lady and asked her to sit down and calm down. You need to calm down and don't get angry. It's not good for your health. Then the medicine that Jess prescribed for you will be in vain. The old lady's anger subsided a lot with just this sentence. Yes, you can't get angry. You can't get angry. The medicine is made of millions of ginseng. I will get angry and lose the effect. That one pill is too much. He picked up the glass on the table and drank the water poured by his son. He felt much better immediately. Zhang's father also remembered that he really couldn't get angry with his wife at this time. Zhao Jixi prescribed her some medicine, saying that when she was young, the old lady's vitality was damaged. She used to have body aches sometimes, and the hospital couldn't find out what the disease was. After seeing Zhao Jixi, he said a few words and prescribed some pills for her, asking the old lady to calm down and not get angry. Apart from anything else, the medicine was really effective after taking it. One pill a day, and her body didn't ache anymore. This is also the reason why Zhang's mother and father like Zhao Jixi more and more. Zhang Ziyi didn't know all this, only Zhang Zilan knew some of it from listening to his father. Mom, are you okay? Following Zhang Zilan, Zhou, who had just parked the car, also came back. When he entered the door, he saw his mother-in-law in the hall and hurried over to greet her. It's okay, it's okay. Zhang's mother waved her hand and said that she was really okay. She just felt sorry for the medicine. If the medicine was no longer effective, although it was given for free, she felt very sorry for the money. At that time, she had a friend who had similar symptoms to her. She also wanted to help, but she couldn't bear to give the pills in her hand to others. In addition, it was a gift from someone with a kind heart, and a course of treatment was also prescribed. There was not much left. So she took the pills and wanted to go to a Chinese medicine store to ask if they had this thing. Who knew that the old master who asked for consultation was shocked after smelling the medicine a few times and even said a few words of waste. It was a pity to use millions of old ginseng to make medicine like this. Well, just this one sentence, Zhang's mother was shocked and ignored the old man's other questions. She took the pills and put them in the bottle. Millions of dollars worth of things. I didn't expect her to eat like this every day. The family is not short of money. The daughter also has tens of millions of income a year, and she will give them gifts from time to time. In addition, the son also has a company and a career, so he is really not short of money. Of course, it's not that exaggerated. Only Zhao Jixi knows how much ginseng is in it. Originally, he was experimenting with boiling pills. After doing a little, he found that the effect was single. In comparison, it's actually not as effective as eating ginseng directly and drinking the water of vitality. So Zhou Jixi felt that this matter was not only a waste of effort, but also lost a lot of other herbs, so he rarely boiled pills. Many of the recipes in his master's ancient books are good, and he has memorized them a long time ago, but sometimes he doesn't boil them well. These things have many procedures. If one is not good, the effect of boiling is not very good. And he gave this to Zhang's mother just at the right time. She can use it, so Zhou Jixi gave it to her. Have you seen the news about your sister that just came out? Zhang's mother paused and asked her son. Well, I got the news this morning and called Zai, but her phone was turned off. Her agent didn't know where she was and couldn't contact her at all. Zhang Zilan said. What should we do about this matter? Will it have any impact on her? Zhang's father was concerned about his daughter, so he asked immediately. Zhang's mother was the same. It seemed that there were not many good things described in the situation. It will have a little impact, but we have to see what the relationship between the two people is. Otherwise, we have to rearrange our subsequent plans in China. But if Jess's identity is exposed, it may have a good impact on Zai. Zhang Zilan said to his father. Look at what is written in the newspaper now. What is this? It makes it seem like your sister is greedy for money. The money she earns now can basically be spent for several lifetimes. Why is she greedy for money? Greedy for money? These people are really talking nonsense. Zhang's mother said a little angrily. Mom, don't be angry. These newspapers make money by writing nonsense. You knew it before. Why are you angry with them again today? There is no need. They are just clowns. Daughter-in-law Zhou said with concern. Go and see if your sister has turned on the phone. Zhang's mother asked. Wait. I made a lot of calls this morning, and now the assistants in the studio are still calling. Zhang Zilan said. Zhang's mother and father almost sighed. This child is really something. He can't contact people at critical moments. Isn't this causing trouble for them? The Zhang family is also contacting people, and the Zhou family is even more so. The third and fourth sisters are in Zhonghai, and they got the news from the magazine the fastest. The female employee of the company, on the desk, has a Capital Entertainment Weekly, a frontal photo of Zhang Ziyi, and a side photo of another man. The female employee secretly told her colleague that the man looked a little familiar, but she seemed to be unable to remember him all of a sudden. When Mr. Teng, the wedding director of the company, saw him, he said casually, this guy really looks like the rich brother of the two CEOs of the company. Now everyone understood why he looked familiar, and a group of people took a deep breath. I said that handsome brother, he looks like an ordinary person, he is really a playboy. The woman covered her mouth with an incredible look on her face. Really, if I had known he was so playboy, I would have just given him the room number. But, if that's the case, the two CEOs will probably kill you. Another woman added disdainfully, besides, you have a butt. Everything else, tut tut, is really average. Chapter 790, Magazine leads to murder. Sister, you don't have a butt like this. Haven't you seen that women with perky butts are popular with men? Your butt is so flat that it probably won't make any slapping sounds when touched. Female men are always not allowed to do anything. Teacher Teng was scared away by these girls in heat. Anyway, he was determined not to eat grass in the company's backyard in the future. It was too scary and too realistic for this group of women. The third sister, with a black face, walked out from behind the crowd. The women were scared and screamed. The security guard outside thought something was wrong and rushed in. After a few moves, he was scared by the look of the third sister and screamed. Ai looked at the third sister and the woman behind her, swallowed his saliva and said, well, it's okay, we will go out first. Go out first. He said while walking back. Captain, don't you ask what happened? The security team member who just came in late asked. Ask your mother. Go back to guard. What kind of quality do you have? I really don't know why I hired you. The captain felt that he had just acted too unmanly. Now that he had a subordinate, he could vent and show off his masculinity. The team member's face turned red all of a sudden, and everyone thought he was ashamed. Who knew that he took off his hat and shouted at the captain, I'm going to show you what quality is. Do you really think I'm a dog guarding the door? As he said that, he rushed up and punched the captain hard. Fuck, I'm a dog for others, and you, an old dog, really think you are a person? I'll beat you to death today. You dare to scold my mother? Fuck. Fuck. When the team members reacted, the captain's face was already covered with blood, and everyone was scared. The women inside the door heard the sound and immediately had an excuse to get out of the way. Seeing this scene inside the door, I immediately took out my mobile phone to take a photo and posted it on my Weibo later. Okay, fuck him to death. This old pervert. The women suddenly roared. Hit him. Be violent. Nimmer. Kick his brother. I'm going. People are going to kick your brother, and you don't fight back. Fuck. Come on, young man. Don't be afraid of their large numbers. Sister supports you. The security guards grabbed the man from behind, and the security captain underground was already covering his brother and gasping for air. They turned around and saw a group of women, all dressed up, but holding mobile phones in their hands, and their hearts were depressed. Go back, work. What's the excitement? No salary. The third sister yelled. Suddenly, the female men dispersed. The third sister went out and frowned. She said to the men, clean it up for me immediately. I want to see bloodstains at the door, and you guys are waiting to complain. But it was this sentence that made everyone feel relieved, which means that at least there will be no complaints now. Early in the morning, fortunately, there were no people, and they were not afraid of complaints from guests, as long as the wedding company did not complain. But today's incident was really fucked up. What kind of thing was this? But they didn't dare to call the police. After calling the police, how to get themselves and others out was a problem. At that time, work issues were all things to be discussed, not to mention what records would be taken. It's just that the captain seemed to be at a disadvantage, but for the sake of everyone, I believe he wouldn't have many opinions. The minority must obey the majority, right? Just take a foul-mouthed captain and look at his former subordinates forcing the palace. He knew that this matter was related to everyone. Some people these days can do anything. This job not only has a good salary, but also has benefits. He can only swallow it bitterly. After all, his foul mouth was the reason. The security guard who beat people didn't want the salary, just as the medicine fee for the captain, just the money for going out, and spit a mouthful of saliva, looking at the captain with hatred. With a disdainful smile, the captain was still panicked. He remembered that others were barefoot, and he was wearing shoes. It is said that people understand more as they live, but he is getting stupider as he lives. These are all minor episodes. The third sister, a female man, has never been afraid of anything. She carries the electric baton that Zhou bought for her, which is guaranteed to give bad people a taste of the taste. The videos or photos taken by the women in the company have also been collected. If you still want this job, don't send them out casually. Once they go out, it will be someone in the company. Look at the camera and find the angle, and you can find out who it is. The third sister and the fourth sister hated the man in the photo that caused this incident. Especially this man. He really looks like her brother. But I didn't expect that after the fourth sister saw it. She directly said that this is not her brother, Zhou. The two sisters took the photo and hung it in the office. Zhou insisted that they hang a photo to compare. It's true that the ear position is almost the same. You know, his will be the new generation of means of identifying people. The two looked at each other speechlessly. This stinky boy really knows how to hide his true face. He has already picked up the international zang. The third sister looked incredible. We grew up watching this woman's movies. The fourth sister was speechless. What the fifth brother did now really made them feel tangled, absurd, and incredible. To sum it up, it felt really fucked up. I don't know, but looking at the picture above, it seems to be true. Look, the hands are hooked, and the neck is so ambiguous. Plus, they said that the next issue will show the most explosive pictures and texts. If there is no relationship, the magazine will definitely not make such a big deal. The fourth sister analyzed. Yeah, it makes sense. The third sister also nodded in agreement. Call this kid. He is a playboy. Last time, he was with so and so. When he arrived in San Francisco, he immediately changed a woman for me. This man is really rich. He has become much worse in front of women. This time, I must teach him a lesson. I'll try. The fourth sister called, but unfortunately no one answered. She called another number, and it rang, but unfortunately no one answered the phone. This kid is probably sleeping. I made 2 calls, but no one answered. You little bastard, really? The third sister was furious. In her mind, she had already classified her brother's emotional state into the templates of those playboys she knew. And this boy seemed to really be following those templates. A grown-up son is no longer under the control of his mother. Now that our brother has grown up, the sisters can no longer control him? The third sister seemed to be asking herself, but her eyes were on the fourth sister. Chapter 791 Reasons. It's just that the fourth sister's eyes were a little evasive. After all, she was closest to the fifth sister, Zhou, and she opened her mouth to defend him. Fifth sister, you're still young. Why are you angry with him? Don't be angry. Don't be angry. The third sister was suddenly ridiculous and pointed at her younger sister. This is what you said. He is in his 20s and still young? Do you think he is still a kid with snot hanging from his nose and jumping rope behind us? Look at what he has become now. You've seen it before. What's the difference between him and those playboys? When he has money, he goes to play with women and pick up female stars? How? He is my brother. And you, his sister, can just let this kind of thing go with just her light words? I want to ask you what you think. The fourth sister was also impatient. It was not her fault. Why take it out on her? You know how old the fifth child is and how old he is, but you still have so many problems. Also, you are meddling too much in this matter. He said last time that this is his personal matter. If it is your turn to express your opinion, it is when he brings the woman home to get married. After saying that, he did not want to talk to the third child anymore and walked towards the door. You have lost your temper. You are using the matter of the fifth child to vent your anger on the university matter. You are endless. Who has not been hurt by love? Only you are awesome. The fourth sister looks weak like a lady, but in fact, even if the children of the Zhou family are thousands of different, they still have a lot in common in their bones. When the temper comes out, no one cares. Fortunately, the sisters do not have a selfish character like Zhou. In this respect, the women of the Zhou family are better than the men of the Zhou family. The only thing in common is that they try their best to help their family members, which is also something in their bones, passed down from their ancestors. With a bang, the fourth sister walked out of the third sister's office with a dark face, and most of the employees working outside were shocked. I have never seen the second CEO get mad before, but I have seen it now. The two girls in the Zhou family are really the same people at heart. The two CEOs are acting like they are going to split up the family. The staff of the wedding planner suddenly said with some worry. The company is more competitive when the two CEOs join together. Now the design ability of the second CEO has been recognized by many people in Zhanghe. Many rich people specifically hope to wear the wedding dresses she designed. Don't look at it. After a few hours, the two CEOs will make up. The company's vice president came out to appease his subordinates. Boss Cheng, are you kidding? They have been arguing like this. A few hours? Many people didn't believe it. How can this be? Mr. Cheng said disdainfully. You all know that I'm from the same school as the two bosses. We have seen this kind of situation many times over the years. They will definitely be reconciled in a few hours. Don't worry, let's get down to business. Mr. Cheng said, and everyone sat back down, but suddenly he remembered something and turned around and said, also, no one should bring any magazines to work casually in the future. What kind of words are these? I won't pursue it this time, but I'm not sure about the next time. Work. The last two words were almost yelled. The fourth sister went back to her office and regretted what she had just said. She patted her face lightly. Why do you mention college when you have nothing to do? She shook her head in distress. When she got angry, she sometimes couldn't help talking. I'm going to bleed a lot again tonight. How much money will it cost me to calm down the third brother? This time, the fifth brother got into trouble. I have to find him to compensate for the loss. This stinky boy. The third sister sat in the office, looking at her brother's photo, but she thought about the things in college. She didn't often recall things, especially things about college. The man who hurt her, even though she didn't seem to suffer any loss, and the man kicked her in the crotch and she stayed in the hospital for a few days. But the injury left a deep mark in her heart. This stinky boy. Hi. She sighed. I don't know how Sister Yu is doing. The The woman who impressed her so much was very open-minded. She didn't trust men much and was with his brother as if just for a child. In fact, she vaguely felt that this woman didn't want to get too much. She was afraid that after getting it, she would face losses. It would be better not to set any goals at the beginning and not to have anything, so that maybe there would be nothing to lose in the future. Sometimes she felt very sympathetic to this woman, even though Sister Yu was actually quite happy. Maybe sometimes she was just pitying herself, unable to get out of the shadow. In her memory, she remembered the neighbor next to the house she rented before, and his child. A very warm man. But when she remembered her brother's personal assistant Neha walked over, the face that was about to say something but stopped, finally looked at her, said nothing, and left. The third sister understood. Thinking about the customs of her hometown, she closed her eyes. Fortunately, she was just a little moved and didn't invest much. Maybe she wouldn't think about it anymore after there was no intersection. If you don't want others to care about your private life, why do you care about my business? There were many reasons why the third sister got angry today. They just accumulated together and exploded. She knew that being a stepmother would be a disgrace to the Zhou family. Even if she didn't go home, the wedding would still be held. Otherwise, the Zhou family would still be embarrassed. Grandpa and grandma, uncles, and aunts. Even if mom and dad went to the United States, they would basically rush back to worship their ancestors every few years, as long as they were alive. The depression in her heart gradually disappeared because of these many things. People can't live only for themselves. She is indeed more open-minded than Zhao Jixi in this regard, and she is not as selfish as him. As for her sister, she had never been angry with her. The two sisters were much closer than husband and wife, let alone overnight hatred. The hatred was gone in a few hours. But we have to give her a good meal tonight. This girl has even learned to slam the door. Zhao Jixi didn't show up here, and the two sisters were implicated. If he really showed up, who knows what would happen. The second sister, who was far away in her hometown, was thinking about how to hide the news so that her mother wouldn't see it and say something. Especially this woman is a star, and her fame has even reached the level of a big shot abroad. It seems quite fun to call this woman sister. When she has a movie premiere, or a certain male god, should we go and get close to her? Bah, you are already a mother, but you are still so frivolous. The little angel in the second sister's heart condemned her evil thoughts. Did you see the newspaper? Dad didn't go out to make friends and chat today, and he looked casual. Dad, don't call me I'm so old. Why are you calling me that again? The second sister complained. I didn't say it well, so it just slipped out. I'll remember it next time. Next time. I've been asking you to change your words for years. You're really annoying. The second sister pretended to be depressed and walked towards her room. After entering, she breathed a sigh of relief, but she hadn't thought of a reason just now. Zhao's father looked strange. Why are you so angry today? This girl is so crazy. Am I her father, or is she my father? Isn't it just calling her the wrong name? When I was a child, I kept teaching her that, when she was a child, getting married. Dad was in a good mood recently, and chatted with more people. Recently, he has become more talkative, and he has been talking nonsense, and he even started talking by himself. But his voice was not loud, which was a comfort to himself. Old Zhao, what are you mumbling about? Zhao's mother walked into the living room with a vegetable bowl and saw them. Grandpa said that he is the second aunt's father, or the second aunt is his father. This child is so crazy. Niu was holding a mixed salad made by her mother, and hiding in the corner of the sofa to eat. Dad ignored this girl. Dad? He was still thinking ridiculously. Why is this child here? Puchy. Mom couldn't help laughing. You are a father. Can you still be my son? How old is the child? Can't you be more serious? When mom asked about such trivial matters, dad could only pretend to be dumb. Niu, why did you go there to eat? Mom asked curiously. Niu has to hide from second aunt. If she sees, she will definitely eat all my salad. When she watches TV, her mouth never stops. Every time she likes to eat what Xianshan and Niu eat. The little girl has been tempered at home and knows this idiot of her second aunt very well. Mom was really speechless and then looked at the big bowl of fruit salad in her granddaughter's hand. Yes, it was a bowl with a diameter of 40 centimeters. Like his father, they are all foodies. The two children have been with their son for a short time, and their appetites are as good as each other. Xianshan's kindergarten teacher is also worried that the children will get sick from eating so many things. She also said that she eats more than this at home every day, but of course the teacher didn't believe it. In the evening, I picked a time to make a home visit and saw the two children of the Zhou family holding a bowl bigger than an adult's. The table was full of chicken, duck, beef, and raw vegetables. The family has long been accustomed to eating a mixture of Chinese and Western food. Of course, the mother cooks according to the children's taste. After eating Western food for so long, the children also eat raw vegetables, but they always have to bring this kind of raw vegetables from the countryside, where there are no pesticides, so they are safer to eat. The two children happily ate all these things and burped at the end. After dinner, there were desserts and fruits, and a glass of nutritious water sent back by her father and uncle, which stunned the teacher. The mother also said happily, the nephew is like her uncle. After living with her uncle for a few months, her appetite has become similar. The other one is her son's child, and her appetite is like her father. It's normal. Chapter 792. Shocking. Please vote. Well, the teacher walked out dizzy. Looking back, she was still wondering how these two children kept their figure and didn't get fat. And looking at myself recently, I was really bitter. This is indeed a problem. Xianshan showed her the photo of her uncle directly. She drooled at the figure. And the child was holding a castrated version of the Apple phone in his hand. The teacher burst into tears. The child played Apple. But this phone has restrictions. You can't play games for a long time, and you can't install software at will. The most important thing is that there is a satellite positioning inside, and the child also has it. Zhao Jixi always likes multiple guarantees, and the guarantee will not be lost. The second sister entered the room and listened to the movement outside through the door to see if her father had any reaction. Who knows what this girl said? It ruined her character. Really burst into tears. If I had known earlier, I would have left them one more piece. As for holding a grudge, I only did it a few times. At most a dozen times. Zhao Jixi wanted to hear it, and at most a dozen times. She is really his second sister. The second sister thought that everything would be fine after passing this level. In the room, she also showed her father the entertainment pages of several newspapers, which were all castrated, at least without pictures of her younger brother. I will only charge you some milk powder, and I will also wipe your ass. I'm really your sister. While doing things, the second sister began to mutter. However, Zhu, who was far away in the capital, saw the reports on the internet without her mother telling her. At first, there was nothing worth noting, but there were too many news. When I opened a web page, there was such a small title recommending it. After reading it, I felt that this man was familiar. Zhao Jixi. Zhu thought about where the familiarity came from. Looking at the pictures inside, it seemed that there was no expression. You are really not unexpected. Still thinking about playing for a few years. It's really cool. It's inevitable that I feel a little disappointed when I say this. Men, rich men, some like to have a stable family, and some like to live a cool life. At that time, she could see which type Zhao Jixi belonged to. Just like his brother Li Shuang, you can tell at a glance that he used to be a romantic figure. He is tired, but now he wants a family. Zhao Jixi obviously hasn't reached that level yet. Zhu looked at the photo and said, I don't know how long I can wait for you. Although youth is my capital, I can't lose money for too long. Zhu's mother also saw the news. People in the city have the habit of watching the news. It is necessary to understand current affairs, so as not to be out of touch with society. If you don't pay attention, when two people are chatting together, you don't know what they are talking about. During the meal, the two mothers and daughters sat together, and the atmosphere was inevitably a little strange. Have you been in touch recently? Zhu's mother said to break the dullness. Yes, we are all friends. Zhu did not show any negative emotions. Chat, talk about business matters. Zhu's mother looked at her daughter. This child has had her own ideas since she was a child. After her father passed away, she, as a mother, had never worried. Yeah, mom just wants to ask, what is the situation between you and Jixi? She stopped her chopsticks, put the dishes into the bowl, and looked at her mother. Nothing, we are just friends. He doesn't want to get married so early, and I don't want to get married so early either. We can't settle down, and we can't stay together for long. Hey, you young people, why can't you settle down? I followed your father when I was 10 years old, and I gave birth to you when I was 20. You are already in your 20s. Mother Zhou really couldn't figure it out. Mom, times have changed. People's minds are different, and the standards for life are different from before. You don't have to do something at a certain age. Do you understand what I mean? Zhou said. It doesn't matter whether I understand or not, as long as you understand. You have been a director since you were a child, and you have your own ideas about everything. But you have too many ideas. I'm afraid that you will become like your aunt. Her marriage is up to her, but she has many ideas. For the sake of her career, the two of them are together. Do you think they are happy? They are cold, even when they have a meal together. But in front of outsiders, they are very good. Our family is not short of money, and we don't seek power. Mom just wants you to find a good family with equal status, and the two of you can live a peaceful life. What era and what thoughts do you have? How can you live? The family really doesn't need your help, and doesn't want you to marry. Yeah, a woman must find a man after all. Although Jess has some achievements, if he is not reliable, you should change him quickly. Mother Zhou said earnestly to her daughter as a military advisor. No matter how rich a man is, he is useless. If you marry him, won't you suffer for the rest of your life? Zhou was really convinced by her mother. Was she going to say that to her? Should we break up or not? A good match. In our family, the good match is either rich or powerful. In this regard, she can only use her usual tricks. Mom, I know. Don't worry about me. I will take care of it. She walked behind Zhou's mother and massaged her shoulders. As for you, just take care of yourself and enjoy life. You kid. Zhou's mother enjoyed her daughter's massage for her, and she also knew that this was her daughter's way of saying that she would not talk about this topic anymore. It has been like this since she was a child. As long as she didn't want to talk about it, she would come over to massage her. Since she really didn't want to talk about it anymore, Zhou's mother could only follow her daughter. Zhou friends who were far away in Montenegro, of course, saw it in the newspaper and on the internet. After a few people discussed it, they found that this person really looked like Zhou, especially the earrings he wore that day. How many people knew this thing? As for the female star, several people praised it a few times. It was really good. Zhou friends in Shanghai, the capital, and other places also saw it. They became interested and called him. Unfortunately, no one answered. After thinking about it, I didn't call again. The incident was reported in the newspaper. Zhou must be having a headache. The most surprised people were Zhou's classmates who had not yet graduated. Wasn't this kid tall, rich and handsome before? How come it's not long since he became tall, rich and handsome, and he even dated such an international star? It's really amazing. People in China who have relationships with the two people are either having a headache or envious and jealous. In short, they can't control the two people now, so sometimes the time difference is still very useful. Chapter 793, The morning after the push. In the early morning, the first ray of sunlight shone through the window onto their bed. Zhou was woken up by his wounded brother. When he opened his eyes, he saw Zhang Yi beside the pillow. The woman must have been bothered by him for a long time last night, and she was still sleeping soundly today. He got out of bed carefully, not wanting to disturb her rest. He picked up the towel on the ground and walked towards the bathroom alone, with light steps. After locking the bathroom door, he was relieved. With his back against the door, he looked down at his little brother, who was injured last night. Are you satisfied now? Really, I still have to think about how to wipe your ass with my big head. As he said that, he seemed to have a headache. He shook his little brother casually, but this time he accidentally touched the wounded area, which made some fresh meat appear on the scarred area. He didn't pull off the wounded skin last night, so it turned up a little bit now. Hiss. Zhou couldn't help but take a breath. He felt such pain. He didn't know how determined those people who were going to be eunuchs in ancient times were to do such a thing. TSK. It was cut with one knife. It was cut. It's really fucking awesome. Huh. It's really hissing. It hurts. This was not a solution for the little brother. He sneaked into the space. He didn't play any role-playing games with the little fairies. He went to the river of vitality to soak first. Soaking in the river of vitality, under the nourishment of the water of vitality, the young man soon formed a school scar. He soaked for more than an hour, and restored his energy. He had some free time, and asked the little fairies to make some food. A large portion of medicinal food made up for all the energy consumed last night. Thinking about his previous state, I really can't do this thing I love to do too much. Damn, I've worn my skin out. How awesome do I have to be? He didn't want to leave the space. Last night, he just thought he would talk about it after he got on. Now it is after last night. What else can I say? What reaction he will have later is a question. Harenai, you are awake. Zhao Jixi leaned against the bed and looked down at Zhang Yi, who just woke up and said. He quickly rejected this scene. Most of the shots in the movie seemed to be like this, and there was no innovation. Besides, honey, dear, this would involve myself, and I couldn't call her too intimately. Otherwise, people would think that you are a man who will take responsibility after sex. But the fact is that he is not. Pull up your pants, put down the money and leave. That is his style, Zhao Jixi. But facing Zhang Yi, this kind of thing is obviously impossible. Sister Yi, yesterday Zhao Jixi thought of saying this sentence first, and then Zhang Yi followed his script and said, just think of it as a beautiful mistake, and we won't mention it again in the future. He thought that, if Zhang Yi said this, he would be really happy. Unfortunately, this is not very realistic. The most important thing is, what misunderstanding? He has already done it. You are a big man. You said it was a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding your sister. Do you have the guts? No matter how much he thought, Zhao Jixi could only sigh. Hey, forget it. Just adapt to the situation. The goal is not to be a girlfriend, not to make promises, and definitely not to get married. Let's talk about other things later. Zhao Jixi thought this idea was very good. We are all adults, right? It's just what's the big deal? It's nothing big, right? With self-suggestion, Zhao Jixi's inner guilt was much better. When he left the space, Zhang Yi hadn't woken up yet. He thought this was also a romantic time. At least he had to scare the woman when she woke up. He called the hotel service and sent several delicious breakfasts. Even though he had just eaten, he felt a little hungry when he saw the delicious food, so he ate a few more. When he was almost done eating, Zhang Yi was awakened by the aroma floating in the room. It can be seen that the amount of exercise last night was really extraordinary. Today, even her skin feels a little dry. It can be seen that no matter where she was, she lost a lot of moisture last night. Zhao Jixi saw it not far away and greeted gently. Hi, you're awake. Good morning, beautiful goddess. Puff. Zhang Yi couldn't help laughing at his funny greeting, rolled her eyes at him, and said to him with her red lips, you exhibitionist boy, you'd better wipe the cream off your mouth before talking. Zhao Jixi reached out and touched it, and sure enough, there were a lot of things on his mouth. He pulled it down with his fingers, and put it directly into his mouth. He licked it around with his tongue, and wiped it clean with a tissue. With his actions, Zhang Yi had already gotten up, and her slender body was exposed to the air. When he bent down to pick up the bath towel that fell to the ground, Zhao Jixi could see the place where he had fought for a long time last night. It was still a little red, probably a little swollen. While he was still watching, the woman grumbled, then walked towards the bathroom. However, the two of them had already gotten familiar with each other's bodies last night, and Zhang Yi was too lazy to close the door. After turning on the shower, he stood under it and raised his head to wash. After the woman put her hair back, she always had a heroic feeling, and Zhang Yi gave Zhao Jixi this at this time. Although he was a little tempted to go in and have sex, he thought that he had already washed himself, and it seemed a bit unworthy to wash again for sex. So he took the plate and found a good angle, sat there and admired the beauty bathing picture, and the food seemed to become more delicious. There was no feeling of tastelessness at all. Maybe at this moment his mood was not on that kind of sex. Want something to eat? I asked the kitchen to bring up a lot of things. Zhao Jixi said to Zhang Yi, who came out wrapped in a bath towel. Zhang Yi threw a bath towel over and said, eating food, wrapping your little brother, it feels weird. As she said that, she found a seat next to Zhao Jixi and sat down. I'll do as you say. He had no choice but to surround her. It was actually quite comfortable to be exposed. She didn't have any extra things on her body, and she had a good figure. He was very proud and happy to keep it for himself to admire. After all, compared to the figure in his previous life, this life was the one he liked the most. Every time he looked at it, he couldn't help but say a few words of narcissism. He had a good breakfast with Zhang Yi, and he also prepared a cup of nourishing medicinal soup made from space water. Last night, Zhang Yi did leak a lot of water. In addition, Zhao Jixi had great physical strength and endurance, so the woman reached the point of losing consciousness several times, and she was sprinkled with water like rain. Zhang Yi blushed and rolled her eyes at him. Feeling her slightly dry skin today, she drank it without hesitation. In fact, this medicinal food tasted pretty good. Then Zhao Jixi filled a bottle of space water for her, as if it were toner. After spraying it on her face and patting it, she immediately felt the skin on her face cool and more shiny. With a burst of joy, she took off the towel and looked at Zhao Jixi. Spray it on me, and then pat it. This woman is really, huh. He took the space version of toner. He sprayed it on her butt first, and then slowly patted it to absorb it. Zhang Yi rolled her eyes at Zhao Jixi. Don't keep patting there, and the back. Hurry up, dear, I'm hungry. A woman who acts like a spoiled child is the most loving. Zhao Jixi looked at the medicinal food that had just been given to her to nourish her yin. After eating this, she was still hungry. He couldn't help but wonder, will she become a foodie after following him for a long time? After a cigarette, Zhang Yi touched her slippery skin, put on her bathrobe with satisfaction, and the two of them started to eat breakfast again. To be honest, the two of them didn't feel much change, but became closer. Some things that they didn't dare to do when they were ambiguous before. Now there is not much difference between the two of them. What Zhang Yi couldn't finish, she stuffed directly into Zhao Jixi's mouth. He didn't think it was strange, and praised himself as the best table cleaner. Eat, these can't stop your mouth. Okay. It's not enough to stop it, it's really stopped. Zhao Jixi's mouth was full of food. The two of them enjoyed this wonderful time. They played until the afternoon, and then they lay on the bed, and then they realized that they didn't seem to have done anything serious today. You are really strange today, there is no phone call. Zhang Yi suddenly said to him emotionally. Phone, how can there be a phone call? Zhao Jixi smiled and said, my several mobile phones are either turned off or muted directly. No one can call in. This is what he thought of yesterday, so that it won't be at a critical moment. Suddenly, Zhao Jixi got up. Oh my god, the phone call. I feel like I forgot something. Damn, this phone call can't be a big deal. He kept muttering, and his feet didn't stop. He immediately went to get his mobile phone. Although he was free now, there were some things he had to deal with. Since the governor has clearly supported it, he must support it to the end. Until he came to power and brought benefits to himself. Otherwise this investment would be a failure. So the people he sent to the campaign team sometimes needed his help and had to use his network to get some invitations to high-class parties in California for our governor. The rest were matters of various companies. Some matters could be handled without seeing people, but he had to call and confirm them in person. He really couldn't live without a cell phone these days. Sometimes he had to deal with matters of the Chinese Federation and the Asian Alliance. Although these were not frequent, if they really called in, wouldn't it be a delay? It's really not possible to live without a cell phone. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 794. The cause of the crack is very small. Zhang Ziyi was a little depressed when he saw Zhao Jixi running so fast. How come he used to look like a handsome young man, but now he is a workaholic? Although he didn't see him go out to work, he always received several calls on his mobile phone every day, which was considered long distance work. When he took out his mobile phone, his personal mobile phone had already been reported, and there were also several calls on the two mobile phones of close relations and business relations. He called back the call of the business relationship first. Fortunately, there was no big deal. Except for one thing about the candidate for governor, there will always be some small things when campaigning. In this regard, there will be the candidate's advisory group and supporters to help solve it. So they hope Zhou Jixi can coordinate some of this matter. The Chinese gangs are very famous in California, and the Asian gangs are even more famous. So he has some connections in the blackface matter. Zhou Jixi also quickly called and asked the person in charge of gang relations in the Chinese Federation, who is already a powerful person, to contact the local Mexican gangs to prevent trouble. I don't care how they do things, I just want the results, you know? Our candidate must give a speech there. Even the people in the civilian area need to feel our candidate's attitude towards them. Zhou Jixi said firmly on the phone. Don't tell me about faith, and don't tell me who owns that piece of land. How can such a poor guy think that they bought that place? Find our people and coordinate with them. Remember to coordinate well. But don't create any scandals for our candidate at this time. After hearing the serious response from the other side, he felt a little satisfied. I will call the chief of police in San Francisco and ask them to strengthen the local legal system. Gangsters and other thugs need to know what the law is for. After finishing his words, he called back. Compared to when he was cursing just now, he was a little annoyed now. Fuck, tell that idiot, is there something wrong with his brain? Do you know what the Federation just told me that place is? The gathering place of the Mexicans. Bastard. Fuck. Next time he puts on a show, can he choose a good place? If the reporters hadn't cheered, I wouldn't have contacted such a thing. Boss, should I tell Mr. Brown the exact words? The Chinese person in charge on the other end swallowed his saliva. This matter must be asked clearly, otherwise he will definitely be unlucky. Zhou Jixi was silent for a while. Please polish your words, Mr. Candidate. The current market is very good. We have paid so much, and we will always get more awards in the future. Okay, boss. The man looked like this. Boss, Mr. Candidate recently received a development document for that area. Someone wants to develop that slum. Is this what he wants you to convey to me? Zhou Jixi quickly understood what the man meant. Yes. After a pause, but some D-heads over there have great opinions about this. Some people hope to get some support, so they want to achieve this through Mr. Brown. Who? Harry Evanson, a Democratic supporter, but his reputation is not very good. He is engaged in real estate business. He left things unfinished a few years ago. He was sued for violence, but he hired a good lawyer and finally got away with it. Because we did a good job in the early preparations for the transformation of the Chinese area, he heard about it, so he wanted to cooperate with you. First, you should make a report for me to see what potential there is in that area. If it is worth it, I don't mind using some resources to cooperate with him. By the way, check the strength of this person. If he is not good, but the project is good, I think it is more suitable for our Chinese Federation to do it. Zhou Jixi is already a little familiar with doing this kind of thing. As the vice chairman of the Federation, if this resource is not used, it is really a waste of this position. I will do it as soon as possible. The subordinate said immediately. He does not have the great ambition to always contribute to the Federation and fight for the rise of Chinese. At first, it was just because joining the Chinese United Association could give him a good skin. Later, he found that this skin could really bring a lot of convenience. The thicker it is, the more benefits it will bring. Especially for the old predecessors, who avoid politics. Young and capable people like him can get more support. After solving one or two small things, he called back the people he was close to, and found that most of them were from China and Mongolia. He thought about it, and walked to another suite in his room. Zhang Ziyi also knew that she couldn't follow him. It was estimated that he would have to talk about some important things. Regarding political matters, she felt that she should not be exposed to too much. Just now, she heard Zhou Jixi actually called others gangsters and what they wanted to do. She thought he was involved in gangs. She was shocked, but after listening to it, she realized that it was not the case. But compared to being involved in gangs, he is one level higher. He directly controls some gangs to do things. In China, this is called a capable person who can do both black and white. Zhang Ziyi was relieved. She had a new understanding of Zhao Jixi, but this new understanding was not very comfortable. She suddenly became hesitant, because this young man seemed to be really different from what she thought. From the beginning to now, she had never really understood him. She was just a passive recipient of the shocks he brought to her again and again. Zhao Jixi usually kept a distance from her when talking about things. Now she heard it clearly, and knew some of his work, which really made her feel tangled. She herself didn't know what she was tangling about, and she felt a little inexplicably irritated. When Zhao Jixi went to make a phone call alone, he didn't expect that the woman's mind on the other end was complicated. He didn't know whether this complicated mind was good or bad for him. After all, he was living the present life, and what the future would be like, let the future see. In another room, after calling his friends in China, he learned that his affair with Zhang Ziyi had been exposed by a magazine in China. He made several phone calls in succession, all talking about this matter. Everyone smiled and praised him for being awesome. Zhao Jixi just wanted to say, awesome, don't you see I'm having a headache now? Sister Yu, Zhu Jinglei, several sisters, his own mom and dad, uncles, aunts, cousins, etc. in China, all of them know about it. Oh my god. Zhao Jixi touched his aching head, and now he didn't know what to do all of a sudden. He took out the phone number that his relatives and friends knew about, and looked inside. Sure enough, his relatives really cared about him. The 4 sisters of the Zhao family were all in it. Thinking about the phone just now, why did they also have the call records they made? Needless to say, there were also Zhao Jixi's 3 cousins, Sandang, Nan, and Bei, who were not inferior, and they had called in a long time ago. There were also a lot of gossip questions in the information. At the beginning, there were a few text messages asking if it was him. Later, it was estimated that a few of them connected, and it was him. Zhao Jixi called his cousin Zhao Jidang to ask and test the waters, whether his mom and dad knew about the matter. Jess, are you really a rich man? His cousin asked in disbelief. I have a little money, much better than the average person. Oh, no, Dang. I'm asking, does my mom know about my affairs? Zhao Jixi was almost led into a trap. But this is definitely not the end. Is wedding planning so easy to make money? Can you flirt with international stars if you have money? Zhao Jidang only knew that his cousin invested in the 3rd and 4th children of his family to do business. That's my sister's business. I make games. Zhao Jixi was speechless to this cousin. Wasn't the conversation on the same level? Can you make so much money making games? Can you flirt with international stars? Zhao Jidang was thinking about the issue of money. He only made a little money, but his cousin who used to be so carefree became so awesome, an international star. He usually went to a certain theater in the city. When a star comes in, to say a few words or sing a few lines, they usually pay a few dozen yuan for tickets, which become several thousand yuan, and the minimum consumption for entering is several hundred yuan. It becomes several thousand yuan, and one trip will cost 10,000 or 20,000 yuan. Although compared to a concert, you can still get close to it when you are in it, but it costs a lot of money. If you take your wife with you, it will cost a few tens of thousands, and you feel sorry for the money. Zhao Jixi is speechless about this cousin, and the two of them are not on the same level at all. It's okay. Now internet companies and game companies are both good industries. If you work hard, you can make money quickly. He can only explain it in 2 sentences. If he says too much, it will sound a bit pretentious. In addition, there are too many things, and he doesn't want everyone to know. I'm really envious and jealous. Jinan is so envious of you. He called these days and asked if it was you. This old scumbag is jumping up and down, and I'm almost annoyed to death. Although the cousin was talking about Zhao Jinan, the tone clearly showed that he was the same. Well, everyone is not on the same channel. We are just friends. Don't think too much. Friends? Can friends do such intimate actions? Friends? Can they kiss and tongue kiss with others? The cousin was a little excited. The magazine said that there will be more exciting ones later. I have reserved a copy in case I can't buy it then. Zhao Jixi was really sweating, waiting for this magazine. I will definitely make him look good when I get a chance. He is a real friend. Ask Laosan about this. He will definitely understand what I mean. I know your sister. Jess, you don't mean fuck buddies. Suddenly, a roar sounded on the phone. Two people who looked a bit like Zhou immediately attracted the attention of many white-collar workers around. Zhou was shocked. Leo-san, you are here too. Chapter 795, Two People's Concerns. The two brothers were in no hurry to reply and quickly stood up, wanting to change places to talk. The scumbag of the Zhou family was indeed amazing. Of course I'm here. Some time ago, a girl chased him, and he couldn't even stay in Shicheng. It's not easy to be an artist these days. He's running to my place to hide for a few days, said the eldest cousin. No, let's talk about your business first. What can I have? Zhou said depressedly. I asked you questions for a long time, and you only answered one thing. Uncle and aunt should not know. I haven't heard my parents talk about this. As long as my mother doesn't know, they probably won't know either. Zhou said that his big-mouthed mother, almost everyone in the old Zhou family knew about it. That's good. Zhou breathed a sigh of relief first, and secretly decided in his heart that he should be more careful in the future. Let's not talk about it first. I still have things to do. Hey, don't you go to bed with that Zhang Ziyi. Zhao Jinan's gossip heart is not dead. Did you go to bed? Hang up. The eldest cousin looked at him with the phone. Oh my god, this kid hasn't even said the key question. Zhao Jinan looked regretful. Can you think more freshly? The eldest cousin looked at the third cousin with contempt. Why do you think about this all day long? You are so unhealthy. The third cousin pointed at himself. Why am I unhealthy? Isn't it that art needs inspiration? Besides, didn't you go to the Yunufang the day before yesterday, and didn't you do unhealthy things? You're still blaming me. La. I was in business needs. It's different from you, who is a bit cheap. You play with the feelings of other girls, and even run away after having sex with them. I'm not the kind of person you are. Spend money. Public relations manager, you're not much better than me. Brother is still single. The third cousin immediately started to despise. I got the news from the second cousin, and the result was very gratifying. At this stage, he is not in any danger at home for the time being. There are also a few sisters' phone numbers above, and they probably all know. There is no young person who doesn't surf the internet. When he opens his computer, there will be a big headline about the two of them, not to mention the sisters. First call the fourth sister to ask what's going on. With the third sister's bad temper, he probably won't hear many good words, so it's better not to say anything. Take it easy. I don't know what the third sister has eaten. He is very angry now. The fourth sister vividly described the third sister and herself, who was rated as a new generation of scumbag by the third sister. I know, you say more good things about me to the third sister this time. Forget it. I can't explain this to you clearly, so let's do it this way. Later, I'll call you again. Zhao made an excuse to hang up the phone. Then it was the second sister and the eldest sister. The eldest sister was better. She said a few words to him, but didn't scold him. She also cared about his recent life and how he ate. She was more motherly than their mother. The second sister, this ghostly woman, started to take credit again. Zhao really doubted that she was a mother who gave birth to two children. This character has not changed. It was not like this in the previous life. After giving birth to her second son, she became more reliable and not so eccentric. Zhao didn't know that these were all changes brought about by him. In the previous life, the growth and maturity of the second sister were inseparable from the pressure of life. It was okay with a daughter, but with a son, the pressure of life has increased a lot. Seeing her husband working so hard to make money, and with her mother-in-law reminding her, she has become much more mature. In this life, her younger brother is rich, and she also has tens of millions of money to do business. If there is a loss, it will be his, and if there is a profit, it will be hers. She will pay it back when she has money. But for the third and fourth brothers, he used the money to buy a house and gave it back. It must be the same for several sisters. Now my husband is doing brand clothing under my younger brother. The clothes of the Bird brand are also selling very well. On my husband's side, because my wife's family has contributed a lot, my parents-in-law are getting better and better to my second sister. There is no pressure in life, and my mother-in-law loves her more than her own mother. It's not just because the property is in her name. The second sister is really likable. Moreover, the two old people have lived for so long, and the loan of tens of millions of Cheyenne Chao coins in the second sister's hand, which the couple jointly undertook, is still in the hands of her brother. As for how to use it, the two people can almost guess it if they think a little darker, which also makes them realize that the people in the Zhou family are not easy to deal with. If the two divorce, or the second sister is unhappy and doesn't want to live anymore, the consequences are almost imaginable. The law is almost played by the rich and the powerful. Reality has long taught the two old people what it means to be good for you, me, and everyone. And the two children can live well, which is what they want to see most. Hanging up the phone with the second sister is a relief. The parents at home don't know, so at least he won't be so annoyed. And there is also Mengdi. He doesn't know whether he should call Sister Yu hasn't updated her online space recently. He called, and the two didn't chat much. He always felt that Sister Yu seemed to be hiding something from him. This feeling is quite effective. Just ask a few brothers over there. Nothing wrong. Go to work and come home every day, and when he has time, go out and play with a few women. Life is very easy. Don't be too carefree with these brothers taking care of you. Zhao Jixi couldn't figure it out, and he was a little annoyed. If he calls Sister Yu now, forget it, or she will call him. When he walked out, Zhang Ziyi was also answering the phone. The expression on her face was a little weird, and she looked at him from time to time. Holding the phone, she stroked her hair with her hand and said helplessly, "It's nothing. We are just a little closer, and this matter is based on this tone. You should do some public relations first. I don't know how many photos they have, but you can prepare for the worst." After listening to the words of the agent on the Chinese side, Zhang Ziyi was really helpless. She could only reply, "Yes, as for the reasons, you should think about it first. It's better to let them think of it as a movie promotion. If it can be regarded as a hype, there is no problem. These days, who can tell the difference between the real and the fake? In short, we should try to reduce the impact of this matter. I will rush back as soon as possible. You should finish the work first, and then help me make arrangements," Zhang Ziyi said. After saying a few more words, she hung up the phone. Zhao Jixi also walked over at this time, put his arms around her shoulders, stared at her face and said, "What's wrong? Domestic reporters took a lot of photos of us, and now they are hot on various websites and newspapers." Looking at him, the woman said. Chapter 796, finally out of the double. He also smiled bitterly after hearing this. "I just called back a friend, and he told me the same thing. How come these people don't know that they have such gossips? Well, now you are on the headlines, and it seems to be pretty good now," Zhao Jixi said jokingly, taking the tablet used by Zhang Yi. "It's just that the angles on it are not very good. Some of the photos made me look ugly. Look at this, and look at this. It doesn't show how handsome I am. It's so unprofessional." Zhao Jixi flipped through the pictures and complained to her. "Nonsense, you still have time to care whether you are handsome or not." Zhang Yi slapped Zhao Jixi. "I'm telling you it's urgent. I may have to go back." When she said this, her eyes were a little evasive, but she hid it well, so Zhao Jixi didn't notice it. "Do you have to go back to deal with it?" Zhao Jixi looked at her with a little reluctance and asked. In fact, he was eager to do so. Of course, these words and expressions could not be told to outsiders, otherwise Zhao Jixi would have known what was waiting for him. It is estimated that after a slap, the woman would walk away. Zhang Yi looked at him and said, "Well, my current career focus is in China, so I need to take care of the market there." Zhao Jixi looked at her, and I don't know if his eyes showed the connotation of reluctance. "Okay, when are you going to leave?" "I'll take you there tomorrow. I want to have a good rest today. It was all your fault yesterday. I don't even want to go back now. I feel swollen, and it feels like I can rub against it when I walk." Although Zhang Yi felt a little bit stung, Zhao Jixi was indeed a good man. She wanted to go back now, and she wanted to deal with things. Another reason was that she felt that she needed some time to adapt to him. After all, Zhao Jixi was not the simple rich man she had just met. But which rich man is not complicated? The same is true of Mark Zuckerberg, who Zhou Jixi knew. After he became rich, he joined the Federation of Jewish Organizations, became a member of the Jewish ethnic group with strong influence in the United States. The two went out for a good walk in the afternoon. Zhou Jixi paid for a lot of things and prepared to ask FedEx to ship them back and ask her to send them to her family. By the way, he also bought some express delivery for his family. Anyway, the second sister was waiting at home. She would be very happy to receive the FedEx company and ask her to sign for the express delivery. If she hadn't spread the news at home during this period, everyone would know it. So if she didn't reward the hero, she would call and repeat the things one by one in her ear until she vomited. In the evening, the two had a good time in the hotel. Zhou Jixi could only sigh that women have good physical strength. Touching her smooth back, slender legs, and her delicate face, it really makes people want to come a few more times, especially the little brother, who can still feel the touch in the cave. For this, he also praised his big guy a lot, which is different. But after all this, his balls were already giving the alarm. If he didn't sit still, he would have the illusion that his balls were broken. It was really amazing. If a man's balls hurt to death, it must be the result of having sex with a woman, but it does not rule out those gentlemen who like to masturbate. The next day, Zhou Jixi and his group drove Zhang Yi to the airport and hugged her several times. This time, there were bodyguards around her, so she was not afraid of being photographed. After the bodyguard suffered a loss once, another bodyguard who specialized in dealing with paparazzi came. He had sufficient experience in this area, which Zhou Jixi admired very much. Then I'll go first. Zhang Yi looked at him and said finally, well, if I'm free, I'll go back to see you, or you can come to the United States. As long as you want, I will try my best to appear in front of you. Zhou Jixi looked at her and said, originally, he wanted to say anytime, but he was hesitant, so he didn't say that. Zhang Yi looked at Zhou Jixi inexplicably, touched his face, gave him a kiss, and then entered the entrance. He was under the wall of a group of bodyguards, watching her walk in. After the plane flew into the clouds, his slightly sad face suddenly relaxed. I feel really good now. My whole body is much more relaxed. He moved his arms a few times and shook his neck left and right, and there was a click sound. Boss, are you going to Korea for a few days now? The bodyguard looked at him and asked. Zhou Jixi looked at him with a questioning face and asked, what are you going to play? When did I say I was going to Korea? Didn't you say you were going to Korea 2 days ago? You asked me to book a ticket for you, but you didn't say which day. The big bodyguard said. He thought about it, and it really happened, but when he didn't think about it, he really forgot it. I have to go, but not now. Really, where is my personal assistant? The schedule seems to be messed up now. There is also a meeting with David Stern in the evening. What the hell is Alina doing? Why is she so slow this time? Zhou Jixi complained. Oh my god, should I recruit that Japanese woman back? Or need her back? The bodyguard thought for a moment, and the boss seemed to have missed something. The assistant girl, and his muscle head, that only knew how to shoot and kill people suddenly moved. Boss, if you are talking about the 2 girls from Sky Investment, they are waiting for you in the hotel now. Zhou Jixi was surprised. When did it happen? How come I don't know? The bodyguard was helpless. Boss, I already said it yesterday, but you said you would talk about it tomorrow, and then you would have to accompany Ms. Zhang shopping. Besides, I forgot about it. After taking a break, he looked at Zhou Jixi, and his expression was simply unbearable to look at. Zhou Jixi avoided the bodyguard's face, touched his head and said, forget it. Anyway, I know it now. Let's not talk about this for now. Let's go meet my 2 assistants first. It's really troublesome to not have a woman who can handle things around you. After returning to the hotel, Zhou Jixi went to interview the new assistants first. This will be much simpler. After reading their resumes, it is indeed easy to leave a good impression in people's hearts. The 2 women were good looking and very capable. He liked this very much. Now he didn't need to mess with women, but women who could do things. One girl was wearing a business suit with long pants, and the other was wearing a business suit with a skirt. However, the figures of the 2 girls were very well reflected. Their breasts were very attractive under the white shirts. The hips were especially prominent when wrapped in tight trousers. and the buttocks of this woman looked very beautiful and voluptuous. Zhou habit of not eating grass in his own backyard would never change for one or two people. Even these two good-looking girls, one was from Berkeley University, a Russian American, and the other was a mixed-race girl, whose mother was a white Westerner, and whose father was a black and Thai mixed race, and she was a mixed-race girl. Her lips did not have obvious black features, but they looked very distinctive. Her skin was not very white, but very shiny. Although he had never touched it, he could feel that it must be very smooth and feel good. He accepted the two girls with satisfaction and told them that they could work for him. The two girls cheered immediately. This was also the most emotional Zhou had seen them in during the time he came in. I'm going to Los Angeles tonight to meet David Stern. For the location, you can ask the person next to me, Zhou ordered. Okay, boss. Zhou nodded, and the two of them went down to make arrangements. Malin reported a lot of good news from the Warriors. Yao Ming had already terminated his contract with the Rockets early under their contact. In other words, it is very likely that they will get Yao Ming. As long as he guarantees his health, he may be able to play for 2 or 3 years. As for the other players in contact, James was also a little moved when he learned that Dirk Nowitzki, the German tank, Yao Ming, the Chinese giant, and Bosch might also join. Even if they can't get all of them in the end. With Ellis, the Warriors now have, and Yao Ming is coming, plus him and Bosch, they are definitely a strong team to contend for the championship. The previous owner of the Warriors was not good enough. He turned such a good place as the San Francisco Bay Area into a losing team like the Warriors. He still remembers how enthusiastic the fans in the Bay Area were during the Black Ape miracle a few years ago. This fan base and prosperous foundation are also one of the reasons that attracted him. Now the Warriors have shown sufficient sincerity, but the Warriors' big boss has not changed, so he needs to wait and see. Anyway, there is still some time before summer, so he is not too anxious. With the player option, he has the freedom to choose. As for Wade, Bosch needs to contact him more. At the beginning, Wade joked that everyone should go to the Heat together, and the three of them would be the boss together. Bosch is indeed a little tempted, and he also has some small thoughts. He has not won the championship yet. Although the Cavaliers are his hometown, the championship is what he pursues. Now it seems that the Warriors are sincere enough. This year is another good year, with many big name free agents. If the Warriors can dig someone, he doesn't mind joining in after the lineup is determined. David Stern, who was watching the Lakers home game in Los Angeles, looked at the time and turned back to ask his assistant, "Have you chosen a restaurant?" "Yes, it's in Sky City." The assistant paused before explaining, "This restaurant belongs to Zhou. It's very famous in California. Many people who come here from other states will go there specifically to try it." Chapter 797 David Stern. "Yeah." David Stern nodded. "Chinese people like to talk about things after eating. I think Mr. Zhou will be happy with this arrangement." "Of course," the assistant said seriously. The Lakers narrowly defeated their opponents at home. David looked at Kobe below. It is really not an easy thing for this kid to surpass Jordan. Thinking about the Warriors' recent turmoil in the team, they were able to contact those big name players everywhere. David Stern became more and more interested in the young man who instructed to do these things. The Bay Area is a good place with a good economic foundation. It would be a big loss if it does not develop a strong team. Chris Cohan in front is really useless. Zhou took a small plane to Los Angeles. It was originally scheduled long ago, but he was delayed with Zhang Ziyi for a while. Otherwise, he would have come to Los Angeles a long time ago and would not have needed to rush there on the same day. The plane took off and landed, and soon arrived in Los Angeles, the city of angels. Zhou also felt more intuitively that it was really a good thing to have such a private plane. But although it was good, he didn't seem to have much money to buy it. "Boss, Mr. Stern is already in Sky City," the new assistant in the car said to him. "How many minutes do we need?" "It will take 5 minutes," the bodyguard who was driving replied. Sure enough, they arrived at the Sky City Western restaurant, which is closest to Hollywood, in 5 minutes. He felt that his own Western restaurant was very good. Whether it was the service or the decoration style, it was very interesting. But why are there so many people outside this Hollywood restaurant? Are they all reporters? Jay Chou had already seen the cameras in their hands, so he asked casually. Yes, sir, because there are many Hollywood stars who often come to our Sky City, so these people prefer to squat here. The waiter who came to serve said. Oh, it looks good. He smiled and praised, and walked in. This time the bodyguard cleared the way, and blocked him for the reporters to take pictures. It was a bit difficult. It was not, until Jay Chou went, in that the reporters began to discuss who the person who just came in was. I don't know, it should be just an ordinary guest, I haven't seen him. The entertainment reporters discussed. After several sports reporters looked at each other, they all saw some information in each other's eyes. Several of them consciously walked to the side. They just followed David Stern to see if they could interview him or take some good pictures. Everyone should know who he is, right? Of course. Of course. Several reporters answered. Zhou is the second owner of the Warriors. Now he comes to see Stern. It can be foreseen that the Warriors will change owners in the near future. The reporters analyzed and got the information they wanted, and now the two can have dinner together. David Stern should not stop him from entering the league. After all, there is a good market behind him. With the Chinese owner of the NBA, there will be more to do in the Asian and Chinese markets. There are not many people who are willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to play basketball teams. Stern finally met one now, and it is in the San Francisco Bay Area with the most immigrants. He will not refuse this. While these reporters were discussing, Zhou had already chatted with the old man David Stern. The food in the restaurant, opened by Mr. Zhou, tastes really good. I like it very much. Stern wiped his mouth with a napkin before talking to Zhou. If Mr. Stern likes it, come often in the future. I will give you a discount card. Zhou said to him with a smile. Thank you very much. I think when I retire in the future, I may be able to visit your restaurant often. He looked around and said with admiration, this is indeed a good place. Zhou likes to be praised. The two chatted happily in a good atmosphere, and Zhou's humor also played a lot of roles. And he also understood a lot of NBA team management experience from David's words, which will be a good help for him after taking over the Warriors. We will end the negotiations this week, and I hope the league can accept my joining. Zhou also finished eating and started to talk business with the old man. Of course we can accept your joining, Jess. The NBA is a big family. We like people who can bring more vitality to the family. The San Francisco Bay Area is a good place, with a developed economy and enthusiastic fans. It's a pity that Kohan did not do well. A good place can only produce a weak team. David Stern said. I'm very optimistic about you, young man. You will be the youngest team owner since I took over the league for so long. I guess this will be a new record when I retire. Thank you, David. Jay Chou got what he wanted. Haha, this would be a good choice, wouldn't it? Of course. Jay Chou also replied. Jess, you will be the most handsome owner in the NBA. Jay Chou also smiled and said, you will also be the most energetic owner. David, when I organize an NBA owner competition, I can beat the team they form by myself. Come on, Jess, do you still want to bully these old guys? Just kidding. I saw some comments on our Warriors official website recently, and one of them said so. He said, looking into the old man's eyes, well, this thing really makes me very proud. I didn't expect that I, a young man, would fight 5 old men alone. You are indeed a very humorous person. David Stern said with a smile. Jay Chou shrugged his shoulders. Thank you for the compliment. What do you think of me moving the Warriors to San Francisco? Jackie Zhou asked. In his previous life, the two owners of the Warriors decided to move the Warriors there. Jay Chou was also considering this issue. David Stern was silent for a moment about this question, thinking in his mind what this young man meant. Oakland is indeed a small city, but it belongs to the Bay Area city. Even from San Francisco, it only takes 20 minutes to get to the current Oracle Arena. So there are still many people who are willing to come here to watch the game. Oakland is not big enough. Although it is a city in the San Francisco Bay Area, it is actually more like a district in a big city. Jay Chou listened carefully to the words of the old man in front of him. Old people are treasures. Their experience can help you solve many problems. Chapter 798. Public relations can make money. but for a team that wants to develop, it is indeed a little small. You will get more fans in San Francisco, and they will have a stronger sense of identity. Thank you, Mr. Stern. He thought about the old man's words. Relocation is indeed a good suggestion, but he doesn't have that much money to do it. For the giant plan he wants to carry out now, he may have to pay a lot of luxury taxes every year. In this state of not very good profitability, if he wants to relocate, the money will be a big problem. The most important thing is that with that money, he might as well do something else. The Warriors still have a few years of contract with Oracle for the arena, so there is no rush. Relocation requires the launch of a new arena plan, which will cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Even if sponsorship and surrounding land price subsidies are attracted, it is obviously impossible to make back the capital without a few years. It happened in 2001, and the team has not been bought yet, so there is no need to worry about this matter for the time being. He has already had some exchanges with Lee Mengson in San Francisco, and the city government welcomes the Warriors to move to San Francisco. These situations can also allow Zhou to gain some benefits in this area in the future. At least when buying land, they will be cheaper. The two chatted happily, and Zhou also understood many things inside the NBA. The most important thing is that with the approval of the league president, there will be no problem in the next vote to join the league. His entry has a good effect on the spread of the NBA league. It will make Asians feel like a home team. After all, he belongs to a nation boss. And Zhou has made up his mind that it would be a good choice to get a few Asian or Chinese players to the team without affecting the team's performance. This is very important for improving the sales of the team's peripherals and jerseys. Speaking of Chinese stars in the NBA, Yi Jianlian is unreliable, not to mention that Sun Dashing, the water dispenser player in the NBA. He got Yao Ming, but he doesn't know how many years he can play. Another one is Jeremy Lin, who is a banana peel. This player is Chinese with a yellow skin and has a good influence on the Chinese market. It's just that his basketball skills can only be considered as playing in the NBA, which is a little better than the water cooler players. I remember this kid in my previous life. Later, he seemed to go to the Lakers. It can be seen that the purple and gold also like the Asian market. Many sports reporters picked up their cameras and started shooting. Some reporters saw it and took pictures first, regardless of whether it was useful or not. Maybe it would be good news. Zhou Jixi sent the old man to the car. The reporters around were blocked by the bodyguards. As for the questions they asked, Zhou Jixi just smiled and didn't answer them. In the next few days, Zhou Jixi kept an eye on the progress of the negotiation team. The media in the San Francisco Bay Area were excited because these days. And what happened next was the most important thing in the eyes of the media. These days, the reporters in the sports section were very happy to follow Zhou Jixi, and the facts proved that they were right. A lot of good things were taken along the way. Zhou Jixi went to the cocktail parties held by other team owners, and also to the cocktail parties they went to, and he could always be seen. Most of the time, you can see a young man chatting and laughing with a group of old people, drinking a glass of champagne from time to time. I don't know what the group of people are talking about, but you can feel their happiness and joy. As for what it is, the media only guessed that he might be getting more support. Although this can only make him look better when he enters the league, it will not have much impact on him in reality. While talking about this, Zhou actually did a few more deals with these old men. Everyone wants to get some of the fairy watermelons first, even if the price is more expensive than what he auctioned. These people don't care at all that expensive is when they can buy it. If they can't buy it, even if it is cheap, it has nothing to do with them. Now even the fairy watermelons in the second-hand and third-hand markets are no longer available outside. Now they finally met Zhou, and it happened that he needed a little favor, so they certainly hope to get some shares from him. Last season, a lot of fairy watermelons were bought back by several people, arranged by Wang in the UAE. Zhou didn't know this at all. The kings came to the United States and wanted to buy a lot of watermelons to eat. So they planned to consume secretly and sneak into the village to shoot. They found a few agents and bought all the things. Finally, they chartered a plane and shipped them to their country. These kings still took photos on Tomcat and Facebook to show off the pile of watermelons around them. The one they hated the most was that the eagles in their own home could also peck a few bites. Ordinary people certainly don't know what this show is about. Luxury can also be turned into drying watermelons. Only the rich people who know this thing know that the watermelons were secretly bought by them. So the domestic market in the United States has been hungry this season. These desert guys actually bought so much, and the rich people in the United States almost complained one by one. Let's not talk about the things that happened. Now they are actually snatching watermelons from us. It's really too much. Zhou directly threw these grievances aside. He was just a seller, and he sold them at an auction. No matter who buys it, the one with the highest bid wins. The others have nothing to do with us. What's more, it would be better if there were more of these local tyrants. They just raised the price of their watermelons by a few percentage points. It was obvious that what he talked about with these people was not only the matter of the fairy watermelon, but also the matter of the medicinal fragrance. They also wanted a share. Since Zhou restricted the sales, it was hard to buy second-hand ones. As usual, he made another sale. Zhou saw that this was not just a talk of support, but a gift of money. One deal after another made him achieve his goal and directly get more than 10 million US dollars. As for the goods, he just had to find someone to deliver them to them. Everyone got what they wanted, so Zhou and the people around him were of course very happy. Many media have confirmed that he has almost finished the discussion with Chris Cohan. Now he is doing public relations with the members of the alliance, and it seems that the results are also very gratifying. The media and fans in the Bay Area are very happy. The Bay Area's newspapers have been selling very well recently, and Asians, who were a bit dull in previous years, have become the largest consumer group. Looking closely at the Warriors' home games, the media found that the attendance of Asians has increased. The attendance in the stadium has also reached the level of the Warriors playoffs that year, not far behind. This is definitely a gratifying thing. The players are seeing more fans and more attendance, and they are getting more and more excited to play. The media sent out the report, and Asians once again saw their power, and they consumed this newspaper enthusiastically. Especially those flattering ones. The newspapers have counted that the sales have increased by at least 20 points. On the contrary, those who curse people and say that Zhou's entry is not good. Usually, the newspapers will not sell well. In front of the newspaper, there will be a lot of people protesting there, and they are not just Asians, but more whites, blacks, and other ethnic groups. Zhou couldn't help laughing when he saw these protests. He was quite popular. Before there was any racial discrimination, many white and black people came to help him protest. This was indeed the United States, which advocated freedom. There were many people who had nothing to do. However, in his opinion, these people finally did something good. Several bosses in the league welcomed Zhou's entry into the league. Zhou also went to the owners of the teams in the Western region and the Eastern region. He also met with the owner of the Bobcats, Jordan, who had many fans in China. Now he has become very fat. Zhou still remembers that he bought a lot of Jordan's shoes in his previous life. Compared with Nike and Adidas, Jordan's shoes seem to be buy one get one free during holidays. This is indeed a good choice for *** men. The change of ownership of the Warriors is an ironclad fact. Let's not talk about anything else. When Zhou was helping the gubernatorial candidate Brown, he was busy jumping up and down, and he also pulled Brown to show his skills, to help the candidate establish a sports image. Mr. Brown is old. If he hadn't prepared enough medicine, he would have collapsed after this show. But the benefits are obvious. The public has become more favorable to this old man, who has contributed to California in the past and wants to contribute to California now. Young people also like this old man who looks serious, but has a lot of athletic ability. According to the opinion polls that came out a few days later, Brown's approval rating has risen a lot. The old man finally laughed happily while lying down to massage his sore muscles. He made up his mind that after Zhou bought the team, he would have a one-on-one match with him, which would definitely win more support from the fans. The California regional governor election, of course, also attracted Obama's attention. And Brown's method is very good. He has always liked to use novel ways to campaign and show young people that he, the president, is very close to them. I think he might come to California again when he is re-elected next time. Especially Zhou. He is very interested in seeing Brown's performance this time. If he fails to be elected, he also wants to contact this young man. Very thoughtful and influential. Especially between Asians and Chinese. These are all visible. His team can get detailed data from the data center with a little investigation. Chapter 799. Chapter 710. After Obama's team conducted a directional analysis, they came to the conclusion of where the recent public support came from, and his performance as an Asian American really made people look at Zhou with new eyes. He is really a capable person. Zhou has been appearing in the economic, sports, and political sections of newspapers these days. Finally, even the entertainment section, seeing how popular he is, hyped up his relationship with Justin Bieber. A few photos of him and Justin, as long as they were slightly intimate, were said to be about the two of them coming out. What does this action and that action mean? Although the words are very obscure, they want to arouse the interest of the public, but they cannot bear legal responsibility. In this regard, these tabloids still have some experience. Zhou doesn't care what your sister thinks. He sued the newspaper when he got the news that day, and now Harvey is still dealing with the reputation damage. Bieber also immediately condemned it and sent a lawyer to join the prosecution team. The rest of the writing was a little better, at least it didn't mention his coming out. He hyped up Nikki Hilton, a female companion he had interacted with, and Paris Hilton, who liked to mention him as his aunt. Even Kim Kardashian had a scandal with him. Zhou saw this woman last time. Her big tits and super fat ass were so impressive that I really wanted to go up and bang. They were really big, perky and plump. In my previous life, when I watched the end of the first episode of the 4th season of Two Broke Girls, that guy, Kim Kardashian, came out of the car. Her ass was really something that made people want to fuck her all the way. This woman is really worthy of being from a big ass family. She really has the family gene. For a period of time, Zhou was almost always at the forefront of the storm. The American media saw that it could increase sales, so of course they had to write more and report more. Especially after he was connected with Justin Bieber, a group of girls also went to him for his handsomeness, which made the sales of newspapers and magazines reach a good level again. Now even the sports editions reporting on him have sold much better. In this internet age, paper media can still increase sales. How touching it is. The trouble caused to Zhou is enough for them. They will have to find something else to stir up next time. But in fact, this is just the beginning. There will be more exciting things to come. The media in China have slowly reacted now. After Zhang Yi returned to China, she was blocked at the airport. She was wearing sunglasses and a hat, and she could be seen at a glance in the crowd that this girl was Zhang Yi. Not to mention those super-eyed reporters. As soon as she got off the plane, fortunately, the airport security came to help, otherwise the surging crowd would really squeeze her. Ms. Zhang Yi, are you in love with this mysterious man? Who is he? Ms. Zhang Yi, are you going to the United States to get engaged? Is this man your fiancé? Ms. Zhang Yi, is this man the beginning of your new relationship, or a substitute for Ivy? Ms. Zhang Yi, some people say he is your husband. You have registered your marriage in Las Vegas. Is this true? Are you really married? Who is this man? He looks very young. Miss Zhang Yi, are you in a relationship between an older woman and a younger man? Ms. Zhang Yi, some people say that you are planning to come out. According to reliable sources, this person dressed like a man is actually a woman. She is your lover. How long do you plan to be together? Do you want a test tube baby or adopt a child? Ms. Yi, do you want to adopt a Chinese child or an African child? The **** orphanage has issued a statement that, as long as you need it, they can let you adopt a child as quickly as possible, and they said that they do not discriminate against homosexuals. Ms. Zhang Yi, is this man from China? How long have you been together? Fans want to know. Please answer me. Millions of fans are eagerly waiting to know. You can't run away. Hey. Answer, Miss Yi, please answer me. Zhang Yi felt like her heart was on fire when she heard this. Each one was more unreliable than the other. What the hell are they talking about? Love, engagement, marriage, homosexuality, women dressed as men? IVF, and adopting children. Damn, they don't discriminate against homosexuals. I don't discriminate either. She didn't stay at the shining point of the votes, and didn't say anything, but she didn't deny or admit anything. Before the team spoke up, or when they didn't think about what occasion she should talk about this matter, it would be better not to speak casually. Especially since Capital magazine still has other photos. If they explained it here, and it was too far away from the other photo illustrations given by others, it would seem that Zhang Yi was insincere and was fooling the public. Some people in the sports section have already discovered that Zhou is a mysterious man, and the person who recently acquired the Warriors is him. However, when they discovered it, it was only one day before the new issue of Capital magazine came out. In terms of time and freshness, it is still not as good as Capital Entertainment Weekly. Now everyone is looking forward to seeing this magazine being able to release more mysterious and explosive things. As for whether it is two people kissing and holding hands, everyone has almost guessed some of these. It's just that the magazine said that there are other more explosive contents, not just about the two of them. Domestic media have long accumulated enough experience in this kind of suspenseful things. Zhang Lan has already arranged a public relations team and wants to spend 3 million Cheyenne Chao coins to buy the photo of the magazine's hand. Faced with this kind of sugar-coated bullet, the fat boss resisted it very firmly. 3 million. He thought carefully about the profit of the advertising page that was just reported recently, which is not lower than this. Moreover, he had already signed a contract with them. If he had to go back and tell them that the photos were gone and that this issue was not about this, he could imagine how the gossipers would tear him apart and the advertisers would come to his door and demand compensation immediately. This loss was not just a little bit, 3 million. He was not willing to pay even if it doubled. This was a future business, and if the magazine's reputation was promoted, he would be able to earn more in the future, and he could see that. It was also his persistence, plus some tricks, that kept the people who had been waiting these days from losing interest. In addition to the development of the two people, there were also these things worth looking forward to. Perhaps it was really a hot news. Chapter 800, Zhou Jixi and Forbes. P.S. Sprinkle flowers, sprinkle flowers. It's the 800th chapter. Zhou Yao has crossed a new peak. This is also my new beginning, after reaching 200 words. Thank you again for your support along the way. Thank you. However, before the Warriors signing ceremony, Forbes released the list of the world's richest people. The expectation for the signing ceremony instantly turned into another thing, and this thing pushed Zhou to the top of the media trend again. That is the new issue of the world's richest list recently investigated and released by Forbes. In the latest 2010 Global Rich List, Mexican telecommunications giant Carlos Slim Helú surpassed Bill Gates to become the world's new richest man this year with a wealth of $53.5 billion. This is the third time that the world's richest man has changed hands in the past 3 years. This of course has nothing to do with Zhou, but he is a bit eye-catching in the list. Everyone will always notice him. It's just a matter of time. In addition, Slim's wealth is $53.5 billion, an increase of $18.5 billion compared to last year. Bill Gates ranks second on the list, with a fortune of $53 billion, up $13 billion from last year. Warren Buffett ranks third, with a fortune of $47 billion, up $10 billion from last year. In fact, the assets of many of the world's richest people have appreciated significantly over the past year. This year, the average wealth of the rich on the Forbes Global Rich List is $3.5 billion, up $500 million from a year ago. There are currently 1,011 10-digit billionaires in the world, up from 793 a year ago, but still lower than the 1,125 in 2008. Among all the rich people on the list last year, only 12% saw a decline in wealth. These are just the data that the media needs, and Zhou is hidden among these hundreds of rich people, especially his ranking is not low. At present, Forbes only calculates his wealth based on the real estate he owns, and the stocks he owns, and the several companies he owns are not so easy to calculate without being listed. Among them, the Apple stock he owns is worth more than $4 billion, and Facebook is worth more than $700 million. The price of his real estate and houses is also not small. The price of $1.5 billion when he mortgaged it to Bank of America last year has shown an upward trend this year. Among them, the farm he owns is worth more than $700 million. This is the first year of the brand of fairy watermelon. It has only been a short time since the end of the year. The evaluation agency dare not guarantee whether anyone can grow the same product as fairy watermelon. Therefore, they only gave the farm a value-added market price of $500 million, which should have been close to $2 billion. In fact, everyone knows that this is just an underestimate. If Zhou really intends to buy it, the price will only be higher. But even so, it can be regarded as a surge in prices. The real estate he owns has suddenly changed from the original $1.5 billion valued by Bank of America to the current $2.1 billion. The property on 5th Avenue has also appreciated this year. The store owned by Zhou was bought by the Japanese brand Uniqlo next door. After setting a new high, the price of his store has also risen. The land price of the rental apartment has already risen, and it can provide more than $10 million cash to it every year, which is the most important thing. There are also the recently popular Sky game company and the social software Tomcat. Forbes gave them a valuation calculated by several appraisal agencies, and the two were valued at $2.8 billion. In addition to the Western restaurant and fast food restaurant, there are still some uncalculated private investments. There are also security companies, the Warriors shares that can be calculated, and his shares in the British Arsenal football team. Even if he sent a representative there, he rarely went to see it. Forbes deducted the $1.5 billion he borrowed from Bank of America. At this stage, Forbes gave Zhou's wealth of $9.7 billion, ranking 73rd. But the most conspicuous thing is that this is the youngest person in the top 100 list. These did not attract much attention at the beginning, and most people's attention was on the gap between the first and second place. It was not until another Forbes list of the world's young richest people came out that Zhou became famous, and so did Mark Zuckerberg. The two youngest richest people in the world were born. One is a young man with a net worth of $9.7 billion, ranking 73rd in the world, and is still rising. The other is Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Facebook shares worth $4 billion and ranks 213th. One is only 23 years old, and the other is only 25 years old. Most people are still in school or graduate school at this age. They became billionaires, and occupied a powerful position in the world's rich list, which is an average of more than 60 years old. As soon as the Forbes report came out, it immediately attracted the attention of the whole United States. On the list of the world's young rich, he is not only the youngest, but also has the most assets. It also introduces his journey, which looks a bit incredible, but you will feel that only this kind of guy can achieve this. Zhou's source of wealth: internet and investment, marriage, single, education, Stanford University. The introduction about him is not very comprehensive, and Zhou did not reveal these. So Forbes just wrote that Zhou lived in China since he was a child until he came to the United States last year after receiving a gift from an old Chinese American. However, he did not squander money and enjoy life after he had a huge fortune as people imagined. Instead, he made more crazy investments. He broke up the perfect investment portfolio left to him by Mr. Bud Chen. Unsatisfied with enjoying what he had now, he started a crazy investment mode. He sold Google stocks that were rising at the time and several other stocks, raised hundreds of millions of dollars, and began to buy Apple stocks in full. God knows why he is so optimistic about this company, although it is doing very well now. But these cannot satisfy this young man. Instead of enjoying the luxurious life of the rich, he began to mortgage the real estate he got to the old American bank, Bank of America. He took out $1.5 billion from this bank. Then he started another round of acquisition of Apple's stock. During this period, he also used the money to invest in Facebook. He got 5.2% of Facebook's shares with cash and his brain's ideas. Now this part of the stock has a market value of $750 million. According to reliable sources, the fluctuation of Apple's stock price in October last year was caused by this young man. The turmoil obviously stimulated Apple's stock, which was on the rise. During that period, the stock did not rise. However, this also gave Apple's board of directors a headache. With the huge amount of stocks in hand, Apple made the right choice, recruiting him to the company's board of directors. Not only did the current Mr. Steve Jobs agree to this proposal, but the senior management of the board of directors also agreed. Obviously, this helped them a lot. Zhou conquered the directors present with his brain, and Jobs hoped that he would stay in the company, even if he had to pay some shares for it. But this is obviously impossible. He is an ambitious young man who is not willing to just invest. The strange ideas in his mind have been bursting out. Zhou then used his creativity to establish the most popular game company, Sky Games. He released several of the most popular games on the market, from Angry Birds to Watermelon Swordsman, Temple Escape, Fishing Machine, etc. Almost when you have a mobile phone, you will have his company's games. Some are one, and some are all. According to statistics, users with smartphones in the United States will bring Zhou $1 or even $10 in income. And this is only data that has not been counted in other parts of the world. We can imagine that the market value of Sky Games will show stronger growth in the future. And this also includes Tomcat, who was just learning to talk at the time. This software, which is now worth more than $1 billion, was just an idea in his mind at the time. In Sky Games, it was just a simple game. But Zhou used his novel ideas in his mind to turn it into a dating platform and a virtual item sales point. Finally, it was developed into an instant messaging software, and then became a better sharing platform than Twitter. A small game has become a company with a market value of $1.5 billion under his whimsical ideas. And this price is only temporary according to the report given by Wall Street. Tomcat's advantage over Twitter is that it now has a profit model and has attracted the attention of major children's consumer companies. As long as it intends to raise funds, its market value will double or multiply immediately. Zhou has been very successful in these investments and entrepreneurships, which also proves that if you give him a fulcrum, you can move the earth. With the funds in hand, he successfully multiplied them several times, proving that he is not a person who relies on this gift to live. After the two lists of Forbes came out, with the introduction, Zhou's Facebook and Tomcat fans rose in a straight line. Suddenly he had more than 3 million Facebook fans, and Tomcat had 800,000 fans. Because of these introductions, in summary, it seems to have become an American dream. A once ordinary young man came to the United States and achieved success through his own efforts. He proved himself and also got spiritual sublimation. So this is also a reason for excitement, which makes the number of fans and members continue to grow as media reports heat up. It makes the employees of Tomcat Company very excited. People on Twitter were depressed. Those who were planning to invest in Tomcats had only one thought in their mind: the price would probably go up again. What a fucking mess. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 801, Annoyance and Subsequent Reports. Zhou is in his villa near Stanford University. He put down the magazine in his hand. Although he was not on the cover, he and Mark's headshots were still a bit conspicuous among the two giants. Zhou really wanted to sight to the sky. He had enough things to do recently. Forbes was still doing this. It really screwed him. This time it's a headache. Although Forbes' report is not the most detailed, the amount of property in it is scary enough. I didn't know that part of my property is so much. He took an apple and ate it depressedly. He opened the curtains of the villa. In addition to his bodyguards and the iron gates, there were many reporters outside. The most hateful thing was the reporters. They just squatted and laid a blanket to eat. They also spent money to rent a mobile toilet. They really wanted to fight with him. Depressed, he took out his phone and called his friend to ask. Seeing that the other party was also depressed, maybe he could cheer up. "Mark, how are things going over there?" Mark was wearing a hoodie, holding a baseball in his hand, and threw it at the wall in annoyance, then caught it in his hand, and then threw it out again, and caught it back. He also looked at the group of people outside his company. I'm very happy now, because I'm depressed. What? Man, what are you talking about? Did the reporter confuse you? Zhou Jixi said strangely. Recently, our market value has increased again, and the number of member users is also increasing by 30% more than usual. It's just that these guys. He looked at the reporters stopped by the security guards outside with a face full of resentment, and by the way, he looked at the bodyguards borrowed from Zhou Jixi. If it weren't for these people, he would be even more annoyed. It's so annoying. Find a time, let's hold a joint press conference. Do you think it would be better? Zhou Jixi thought. Man, they don't want us to say it now. They just want to take pictures of us with some women, us falling down, us stepping on dog shit. In short, they just want to take pictures and write what they need to increase sales. Fuck. A bunch of bitches. Jay Chou also cursed. After a pause, he said, by the way, Mark, do you need to send a few more bodyguards to you? I heard that your girlfriend has been harassed a lot recently. No, thank you. Mark Zuckerberg said, she is more uncomfortable than me to have someone following her all day long. Okay, whatever you want. Jay Chou said easily. It seems that you are in a good mood now. However, I saw the macro videos posted by the reporters on your side on their tomcat on the internet. Your unhappy expression is really a highlight. Mark said with a little doubt, but man, your way of adjusting your mood is really fast. Jay Chou cursed in his heart. He had to go and see who exposed himself on Tomcat again. Damn it, my own company actually has to be laughed at online. Of course, I just feel much better after knowing that you are no better than me. Thank you so much, brother. Bitch. Mark Zuckerberg was ridiculous and decisively hung up the phone, but he found that this was normal. Never underestimate the integrity of this bitch Zhou Jixi. Zhou Jixi smiled and smiled at the phone. He is really a cute little guy, but in the future, don't blame me for letting you down. It's all because of money. The effect of the news this time is predictable compared to the last time. In China, the third and fourth sisters were already stunned. The two looked at the Forbes magazine in their hands. They saw the report on the internet and couldn't believe it, so they bought it to see. It is definitely the authentic version. Zhou has become a Forbes rich man. If this net worth is changed to a Chinese rich man, he can still be ranked fourth. If it is counted in the mainland, he is the richest man in China. The third sister looked at the magazine with a dull face and even ranked it on the list. It seems that the fourth sister has already seen it clearly. He ranks 73rd with a net worth of $9.7 billion, and he earned it in just 1 year. Is this really my brother? She couldn't believe what she saw. At this moment, it seemed that she suddenly understood why Zhou Jixi liked to play. Perhaps there is nothing in this world that can bother him. With so much money, no matter how he squanders it, it is enough for several lifetimes. Enjoying life to the fullest may be what he wants now. If Zhou is a Chinese national, then we will be the sister of the richest man in China. The brainless words of the third sister made the fourth sister speechless. Even if he is not a Chinese national, you are his sister. And Ms. Zhou Huling, who will remember the rich man's sister when he goes back. He looked at her speechlessly and said. The third sister thought about it carefully, and it seemed to be true. Not many people like to pay attention to who the rich man's sister is. If they are in the mood, most people will pay attention to who the rich man's son is, and who the rich man's daughter is. The second sister in her hometown is the same. Suddenly, she wanted to see what her brother, who is richer than the rich in China, looks like. With her evil taste, she was thinking whether she wanted to feel the feeling of touching the head of the richest man in China. Mom, let's go to the United States to see Zhou, she suddenly said. What's the hurry? Didn't you say a few days ago that you would stay at home for a few more days and told us not to be so anxious to go there? The plane ticket will take a few days. Mom was playing mahjong. I'm anxious now, and Niu wants to see her dad. The conversation at home did not stop. The two people and a few of Mom's friends talked about the United States. Mom laughed happily when she talked about this son. Before the domestic media paid attention to this, they sold another magazine. Zhou Jixi's new round of storm fried the domestic market tender on the outside and burnt on the inside. Just now, Capital Entertainment Weekly exposed the kissing photo of him and Zhang Ziyi. Then it also exposed his personal relationship with Jobs and his identity as a director of Apple's board of directors. It has aroused the admiration of Zhang Ziyi's vision from the domestic media and the public. They couldn't believe that there was such a young billionaire worth billions of dollars. But the magazine clearly wrote so, and there was also a hug between Jobs and his wife. Oh my god, the female stars and girls are so jealous. This woman in her 30s can actually find such a boyfriend? Compared with the former son of the Huo family, he is simply amazing. He is a third generation rich man, but he is a first generation rich man. Chapter 802 Other People's Children. These are not all. The next day, when the Forbes Global Rich list was launched in China, people discovered a fact: you never know where a person's bottom line is. The general public in China will definitely not spend money to buy something like Forbes. With that money, they might as well buy some food and drink, not read magazines. However, the Chinese media always likes to report things in a rush, and they also hope to directly reprint other people's news. Seeing such a young Chinese rich man was born, and he was a Chinese before, the public is indeed a little curious to see what such a person looks like. As a result, a group of losers were heartbroken. He is really a tall, rich and handsome existence, which hurt their hearts into glass hearts. Not to mention that it would be better to look a little bit better for everyone to look at, but it seems like a punishment from heaven. He is still so handsome. Damn, it's like acting in a TV series. It's not just the losers who are hurt, the second and third generations have also suffered a serious blow. Not only is Jay Chou's achievement beyond their reach, but his appearance is even more so. The wives of the wealthy men who are now in their 40s or 50s obviously cannot be very pretty, and the illegitimate children born by pretty wives probably have to be well hidden. Money, appearance, and status suddenly made the second generation look like nothing. It also became a tight ring in the mouths of their parents. Jay Chou suddenly became a child from another family in a wealthy family. Most of the wealthy men often say, look at Jay Chou. Although he also has a high starting point, he has pushed himself to a higher position with this starting point. What about you? We have already laid a foundation for you, and we don't ask you to make several times more. Just do well, and pick up girls every day. A similar education makes the second generation depressed, and want to go to the bar to drink. Especially those who don't agree with what their father said about them picking up girls. It's okay if they don't know Jay Chou, they can only say that he also picks up female stars and doesn't get along with women. Don't say where he knows, just read it clearly in the newspaper. Those who know him are really depressed. Zhou Jixi is such a bitch, but they still don't know what he is like. You must be kidding. When we played together, we didn't see that he had such a positive image. We need to learn from him according to our parents' requirements. These are helpless complaints, which do not affect the media and online media's enthusiasm at all. Portal websites, Weibo, blogs, forums, Tiba, etc. all have things written about him. Of course, there are also people who scold him, saying that he is very pro-Western and has joined the nationality of another country. He is considered a traitor to the Chinese empire, and when he has money, he will find the United States to be his godfather. Zhou Jixi is not afraid of danger. It's just a few scoldings. He can just pretend not to hear them. Filtering reading is also a good habit he has developed recently, especially when reading. To assistants help to read it first. If they feel there is no problem, they will pass it to him to read. However, we can put this aside for now. Just talking about the matter, Zhou Jixi's achievements can be reported. But living in the Chinese empire, one thing is that you should never ignore the power of harmony. Zhou Jixi is awesome, and he is also an American citizen. Apart from being Chinese, there is really not much relationship between him and the great celestial empire. He is just a successful Chinese at most. If the entertainment section had not been following up on the report, the higher-ups might have secretly ordered not to report too much on Jay Chou. Just like his good friend Darling Huang's father, a world-renowned doctor, scientist, businessman, and Forbes rich man, he has also made outstanding achievements in scientific research. But he didn't know this person at all in the Celestial Empire. Sometimes news control is not just talk, and it is not done very obviously. Under the huge power of the country, everything is subtle. You don't feel it, but there are still many things isolated. It only took a few days for Zhou to become popular all over the world, although this did affect his life a lot. But life has to go on, and things that should be done must be done. Millen's negotiations with Chris Cohan's men are coming to an end. Now as long as the two big bosses nod and sign, there will be basically no problem with this matter. He got into the Raptor with bodyguards, and it was not so easy for reporters outside to stop him. The three cars drove away in the depressed reporters. Chris had already been in the office of the Warriors at Oracle Arena in Oakland. He was looking at the things in the office and the Hall of Fame by himself. Walking through the corridor, there were historical photos of the Warriors hanging on it. Meritorious players and role players. Family photos were also hung on it. He had been in charge of the Warriors for more than 10 years, and it was impossible for him not to have feelings for this place. Now after today, all this is no longer his, and he can't help feeling a little sad. But thinking that he will soon earn hundreds of millions of dollars, the sadness doesn't seem to be that much. When Zhou arrived, there were also many reporters outside the Oracle Arena. Today they came to sign the contract first, which is a legally recognized document. At the press conference, the document signed was for show. Mr. Zhou, how do you feel about becoming the youngest Forbes billionaire? Mr. Zhou, what do you think of Miss Paris Hilton's invitation? Do you think you can be a good owner of the Warriors? Arsenal shareholder Moscow hopes to buy your shares. Will you sell them? Is Zhang your girlfriend? Mr. Zhou. Zhao Jixi frowned and looked at the flashlights. Fortunately, he had the habit of wearing sunglasses. They would not flash his eyes. With the bodyguards leading the way, it was impossible for reporters to get close to Zhao Jixi, let alone hand him the microphone. After entering the stadium, the security guard closed the door. These people are really endless. He looked back and said depressedly. No one spoke, and he didn't care. The bodyguard obviously couldn't answer this question. Before he took 2 steps with the staff, Millen came to greet him with a group of people. Boss, you are finally here. Mr. Chris Cohan, in the office upstairs. Millen looked serious, but the smile in the corner of his eyes could not be concealed. Zhao Jixi glanced at him. This guy's indeed capable. Yao Ming, James, Bosch, and others have already been contacted, and some have achieved good results. Let's go. Today will be a memorable day. Chapter 803, Warriors change ownership. Of course, the Warriors will welcome its new owner, and will have a brighter future. Millen said happily. Zhao Jixi looked at him meaningfully, which made Millen feel a little uneasy. He reflected on whether he had not done well, or whether he was not humble enough. In Millen's anxiety, Zhao Jixi finally spoke. You look very confident, but keep it up. Yes, boss. Millen replied quickly. Zhao Jixi nodded and said with satisfaction, let's go. It's time to do business. The meeting room was already in the final and most critical moment after Zhao Jixi arrived. Chris Cohan signed the contract with a complicated expression. Zhao Jixi's lawyer Harvey handed the document to Zhao Jixi again, and he happily picked up the pen and signed it. One by one, the documents were placed in front of him like a meal. After signing, he changed another one. After a few times, it was finally done. Congratulations, Jess. It belongs to you. Chris finally stretched out his hand and said. Zhao Jixi also shook hands with him, and was a little reluctant to hand him the check in his hand. It belongs to you too. It's worth the price, isn't it? All of Chris' emotions turned into happiness because of this check. $300 and $200 million to buy 80% of you. This is not an ordinary price. Zhao Jixi looked at him and said, and the Warriors team with a total price of $380 million was sold. Compared with a transaction price of $450 million in the previous life, Zhao Jixi still got a bargain this time. I hope the Warriors can get better in your hands. Chris said. Zhao Jixi smiled and said, of course, this is certain. I like this team and hope it can get better. Maybe it will be a dynasty in the future. I hope so too. Chris didn't care whether Zhao Jixi was bragging or not. These had nothing to do with him. He could retire with this money. This money was enough for him to spend for a long time. Maybe he could leave a good sum for his children, but this would have to wait until he died. As for now, he had to enjoy it well. In the conference room, everyone stood up and applauded Zhou. Chris Cohan left first. This scene was obviously not very happy. The next meeting will be soon. When they meet with the media tomorrow, they will also need to do a signing show. This is for the public and fans to see. Zhou sat alone in the main seat. On the right sat Mullen, and below him was the Warriors management team. On the left were his personal lawyer Harvey, accountant David, and their team. He always wanted his own people to supervise the finances of the Warriors. David was responsible for his personal finances. Now, as Zhou's business is getting bigger and bigger, this team is no longer just a few people. It has expanded to a medium-sized accounting group of 38 people. Zhou looked at the old management team of Facebook, that was not very good, and the new management team mixed in with them. Mullen did a good job. He pulled a group, and beat a group. The middle and lower management team is what he needs now. As for the senior management, just get out. He doesn't need these people. This is my first meeting here. I'm at my best age. I have the Warriors now. I hope I can still sit here and hold meetings when I'm old. Zhou looked around and spoke first. Then he looked at Mullen with a look on his face. Don't you think something is missing? Mullen looked confused. He asked the fat man next to him to kick him under the table. Then he stretched out his hand to applaud, but his movements were very slow, so slow that Mullen could react. So, the office was filled with applause. Harvey and David looked at each other. The boss really liked this. His territory had to be done according to his preferences. He also applauded and celebrated, even though the words were not very good. He smiled and supported the table with both hands. I don't like the color of the conference room very much, and this desk, too old-fashioned. By the way, I want the table to be more fashionable, and the chair too. And the color of the wall, changed to a more fashionable tone. Add a little purple in the middle, that is my lucky color. Zhou talked to himself, and everyone listened carefully. Even if he was talking nonsense, they had to listen. The Warriors Mullen's men next to him hurriedly remembered what he said. He seemed to suddenly remember something. Oh, by the way, the former senior management can resign on their own. I will pay you an extra month's salary. You don't need to thank me for this. 4 people stood up at once. Zhou looked at the people who stood up and waved to the bodyguards who followed behind him not to be nervous. He reached out and took a cigar from the assistant and roasted it with the fire. In addition to the silence in the office, there was a little smell of cigar wafting. Okay, very conscious. As he said, he cut off the cigar head and lit it with a match. I don't like to talk nonsense. There is a saying in our Han nationality that I like very much. A new emperor appoints new ministers. To me, you are outdated people. He exhaled a puff of smoke. I hope to receive your resignation letter today. Tomorrow is a good day. I don't want to see people I don't like in my territory. So, as soon as possible. The 4 people didn't want to say anything. This was already expected when Mullen came in. What they didn't expect was that Zhou wanted them to get out so soon. Although it was a resignation, it meant to get out. The general manager, who was also called Mullen, looked at Zhou's indifferent face. In the end, it only turned into a sentence. Okay, this place is really not suitable for us. It's a wise choice. I hope you can find a new place. Zhou said with a smile. The 4 people walked out. It seemed that there was no point in saying anything else. If the boss doesn't need it, then just go. If you say too much, you will offend people. If you are still in the circle, there is no need to make it too ugly. Okay, it's much quieter now. Let's have a meeting, Zhou said. Mullen will be the director of operations, which means the general manager. Congratulations, man. I hope you can stay in this position until retirement. I'm very optimistic about you now. Thank you for your trust, boss. I will do my best. Mullen's excitement could no longer be expressed. Under the current circumstances, he was also smiling. The head coach of the team is still Mr. Neal. This will not change. You can discuss the matters within the team and then tell me. I hope to receive some good news in the summer. Zhou then began to network with the financial director. This was an area he had to control. Whoever dared to embezzle in his hands would be in trouble. We need to build a better team for the medical care within the team. It doesn't matter if we spend more money on this. Muscle experts and orthopedic experts. Try to contact the best doctors. In addition, I want to introduce Chinese medicine to cooperate. Someone will come for this area when the time comes. You just need to cooperate well, Zhou just said, and as for them to execute. Now he is the boss, he can do whatever he wants, and he is not an amateur in arranging things. Of course, no one dares to say anything casually. The 4 people in front are the shackles in front of everyone. Then several senior managers were appointed. One of Jay Chou's former advisors also entered the senior management. The others will compete in the middle management. Seeing that it was almost done, he left with his bodyguards. The accountants and lawyers will take care of the rest. As long as it is about the team, Malin and others will do it. He is the boss, not an employee. He is needed everywhere. Signing a document and acting like a boss is his main job. Going back at night, he was excited and distressed. The warriors are his, but he owes the bank another $300 million US. Hey, what a rich poor man. Brothers are all Forbes people. Why are they still so short of money? Jay Chou couldn't help but feel depressed. Forbes writes about him as if he is very awesome, ranking more than 70 billionaires. This wealth can be regarded as the richest man in China. If the people in Hong Kong and Taiwan are included, his wealth can be regarded as the 3rd or 4th person, but he is also very short of money. None of the joint stock companies calculated above have ever put money into his pocket. On the contrary, he took out a lot of money in the past. Only the farm is his money bag. It is not the time for the game company to take money now. Even if there is money in the company, if they want to develop and become better and more competitive, they have to continue to invest this money. It is estimated that by the end of the year, after further expanding the smartphone market, it will bring him more income. Then, taking some money from the company should not have much impact. Domestic investment is still being made. It is actually a bit late to invest these days. Penguin 361 Alibaba, etc. The cost of investment is indeed much higher than in the past 2 years. What his investment advisory team is doing now is to invest in the internet. When these internet giants start to integrate the market in the future, it will be his time to make money. The current group buying websites and future e-commerce websites will all be within the acquisition scope of several giants. If he does these well and invests in their stocks, it will obviously not be too difficult for him to gain a seat in the market in the future. With a different mood, he couldn't sleep. San Francisco is a good place, but he is not very familiar with it. Living in the hotel, he still called the former call girl agency. It would only take half an hour to get there, and it would take 20 minutes to get there in a hurry. It was another beautiful night. He enjoyed the tenderness of the 2 women to his heart's content. After galloping on them for a while, he fell asleep slowly while hugging the 2 women. Chapter 804, The Warrior's New Boss. The next day, after giving them a generous envelope, the 2 women kissed him with a smile and left. The bodyguards outside were already used to this from the boss, and they looked at the 2 girls' breasts, which were really perky and voluptuous. The boss really likes this appetite. I saw in the newspaper a while ago that he had slept with Kim Kardashian, but I don't think it's necessarily true. Come on, brother, this is fake. The boss has never slept with this woman. The other one was brought by Jay Chou when he attended the party to take it back. So what he said was accurate. Okay, this is not a good topic. Don't talk about this at work in the future, and don't talk about it in private. After hearing this, the head bodyguard came over and whispered, "Don't worry, boss, just this once." The head bodyguard stared at the 2 people and nodded after a while. Jay Chou changed his clothes in the room. He was wearing a formal suit today. After all, it was an important occasion. We drove to Oracle Center. There were many more reporters here today than yesterday. Not only sports reporters, but more entertainment reporters. He deserves so many people to report now. Zhou saw Chris Cohan first in the car. The old man was also dressed in formal clothes. Chris looks really old now. The female assistant next to him obviously heard what the boss meant. The boss is the most handsome today. Zhou looked at her unexpectedly. Thank you for the compliment. Very good. He reached out and touched his well-groomed hair and put on sunglasses to block the flash of the reporters. The assistant knew what to do. He got out of the car and opened his door. The bodyguards in the car behind and the car in front were waiting. Zhou was able to protect him well after getting out of the car. Today was a press conference. Of course, he couldn't have a cold face. He greeted the reporters with a smile, but didn't answer their questions. After entering, he shook hands with Chris. Old Neil also came, as well as Malin and others. Zhou greeted them one by one. The outside was already set up, and the warriors press spokesperson began to speak. Then Jay Chou and Chris were invited to come over. When he walked onto the stage, he specially invited Chris to walk with him. Looking at the cameras of the reporters, it is estimated that tomorrow's front page will be him and Chris standing together as the cover. This also allows the public and fans to see the difference between their two bosses. Jay Chou is a little scheming and a little scheming. He always likes to do these little things to make himself happy. After he got on the stage, Jay Chou first gave way and invited Chris to sit first, and then he sat down. After the press spokesperson started talking a lot of nonsense, it was time for the key sex scene. A document came up. Chris signed it first, and then Jay Chou signed it again. At this critical moment, of course, the cameras in front of him kept flashing, and Jay Chou wanted to get sunglasses again. But it was obviously not the time to act cool, so he should face it with a smile. I believe Jess will definitely be a good boss. He is younger and more capable, and will do better than me. Chris said to the camera. Thank you for what Chris said, but I agree with this. I promise the fans that you will see a different Warriors team in my hands. I like to do one thing and do it to the best of my ability. The same is true for managing the Warriors. Jay Chou also said to the camera. Mr. Zhou, have you made a plan for the development of the Warriors? The reporter from the San Francisco Times raised his hand and stood up after being approved by the spokesperson. Of course, I have been planning this before. Jay Chou nodded and said, I like the Warriors and the fans in the Bay Area very much, so I bought it. Now I just want to build it better and more competitive. I will introduce more stars. I believe that more capable people can build a strong team. Jay Chou looked at the reporters confidently and said. His confident look was also published in newspapers, magazines and the internet. His handsome look and this expression have added many female fans to the Warriors and many fans to him. Do you have a favorite star? The reporters asked. Of course. Jay Chou said with a smile. I like all the all-stars in the league, but it's a pity that we can't bring them all in. Besides, our team already has a lot of stars. I like them too. Today is a big year for the free market. Will you chase some big name players? The reporters asked. Jay Chou said, yes, this is a good opportunity to increase the strength of the team. This year is a good year. I will do my best to build a more competitive Warriors team. Does that mean you plan to join the team chasing James, Wade, Bosch, Dirk, Kobe, Yeo and other players? They are all among the best players on the planet. If you are a team owner, do you think you will chase them? Jay Chou's answer made many reporters laugh. I will chase them. I will offer the best conditions to match his value. I have enough US dollars. I believe that my sincerity and determination to revive the Warriors will attract some people to the Warriors. Since I have the determination, ability and strength, why can't I have the best players? Haha. So, I tell you without hesitation, you can write all these out. Tell those team owners, they should be careful, because, I come. Zhou words really made the reporters write them in. I'm here. The new owner of the Warriors boasts that he will join the ranks of Burning Money, and another Warrior waving a check has come to the NBA League. He wants to announce to other teams in the league that you should be careful. Los Angeles Sports reported. Jess Zhou, the new owner of the Warriors. The headline of the San Francisco Times, accompanied by a photo of him standing, one hand still raised on the right, with a finger on it, domineering, announcing his arrival to the world. The new Warriors owner, Jess Chou, admitted that he is ready, and reviving the Warriors is something he always talks about. It is not known whether he can do it, but he has already told reporters at the press conference that he is not short of the players' salaries as he waves a check. He said that the luxury tax is not a problem as long as the team can be revived. Can the Warriors be revived? A local newspaper in Oakland. The new boss, Jess Zhou, took over the Warriors. On the same day, he vowed to revive the Warriors. Mr. Chris said that Jess Zhou would be a better boss than him. As the youngest boss in the league, we can wait and see if he will be a joke. However, we can also expect that he may be a miracle. The Cavaliers should be careful. The new owner of the Warriors has shown his pursuit of James without hesitation. If we can't bring good teammates to James, we may lose the best player. The Houston newspaper also had Zhou on the page. Will Yao leave the Rockets? When the Rockets' top management did not further use a big contract to keep our giant, Oakland's Jess Zhou clearly stated that he would use a good contract to pursue the players he needs. This will be a dangerous signal. The next day, Zhou looked at the content of the newspaper that his assistant had selected. He smiled disdainfully. Those greedy guys on the Rockets would not take out a $130 million contract for Yao Ming. These guys just want to use a short-term contract and treat Yao Ming as a disposable item after his injury, and maybe abandon him after his next injury. In fact, this is indeed the choice of the Rockets. In Yao Ming's previous life, he retired directly after he was injured the following year after signing this contract. It is really a pity that Yao Ming, who could have played for another 2 years, retired like this. Putting this matter aside, Zhou looked at his handsome appearance in the newspaper and was really a little excited. Looking at him in the newspaper, he really had a strange feeling. Unlike the candid photos on the entertainment page, he was more elegant, handsome and domineering in these newspapers. Of course, what he saw was like this, and this was deleted by his assistant. As for those who scolded him, his photos were obviously not so good looking, but that kind of thing was better out of sight. Zhou's report was not only seen by himself, but also by the players, who were under contract this year. James at least felt the determination of the new owner of the Warriors, and had a lot of expectations for the Warriors. Now several teams have contacted him and his agent, and the heat is very attractive. Wade expressed his willingness to join forces with him, and Bosch also said so at the beginning. At least now it seems that the tone has changed a little. Bosch seems to be planning to go to the Warriors. He specially arranged a time for the two of them to have a good talk. Dirk Nowitzki called him and seemed to want to respond to old Neil's move to the Warriors. This year, the German tank has been questioned, but James still knows his ability. He is indeed a very comprehensive player and a strong teammate he needs. There is also Yao Ming from China. Recently, it seems that he is planning to go to the Warriors. It is a great thing to pair the strongest forward in the league with himself. If Bosch is added, the firepower of this newly formed giant team will be extremely hot. There is also the point guard, the Warriors' best rookie of the year, who is also a good player. Ellis may be okay, but according to James's idea, he may be sent away, since the firepower is enough. Calculating this way, it seems that he may not be needed now. Chapter 805 NBA is coming to an end. The matter with the Warriors has come to an end. During this period, Zhou also talked to Yao Ming on the phone. The two had a good chat. Yao Ming no longer had any hope for the Rockets' treatment. Now there is a team that can give a good contract and has no doubts about his health. This is indeed very tempting. He has also read the recent newspapers. Zhou's determination in the newspapers really makes the Giants happy. After being in the league for so long, he also wants to fight for the championship, but the Rockets. Hey, I'm in tears when I think about it. There is really no hope. Since the decision has been made, Yao Ming also expressed his willingness to go to the Warriors, and Zhou was very happy about it. It's just that it's not very appropriate to meet now. After a while, there will be basically no problem. It's also a good time to check on his physical condition. Maybe he still needs some maintenance to ensure that his injuries will not always become a burden. Yao Ming also sent him the latest injury situation and his own physical examination report in the email. Zhou also studied medicine. I won't talk about medicine. It's still very good now. As for Western medicine, it was an elective course at Stanford. I memorized a lot of books. I may not be a good doctor, but at least I have solid theoretical knowledge. I looked at Yao Ming's injury and combined Western and Chinese research. It was still okay. As for treatment, I had to rely on the old lady. A time was scheduled. The Rockets' playoffs were basically over. Yao Ming was already very free at that time. He ended his contract early. Without signing a new contract, it was normal for Jay Chou to meet him. It would not have any adverse effects at all. He became the new owner of the Warriors. Not only did it cause a wave of attention in the United States, but people around the world who were paying attention to NBA were also affected, especially Chinese Americans and Chinese people. Chinese Americans in the United States felt like they had a home team, especially Chinese people in California. The same is true in Chinese-speaking areas such as Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Australia. Now there is a team in NBA that can attract them. Compared with the previous scattered look, picking and choosing, and moving to where the stars were, NBA now has a team worth paying attention to. You can feel the joy of the team winning and the disappointment of the team losing. This is something that was not available before. Watching the game seems to have become watching the stars perform. Looking at the stars data, even if their team loses, as long as the star you follow has a good performance, you will not feel disappointed in the game. I don't know yet, but maybe I will become a fan of the team in the future. When the team is about to advance, they can cheer, drink to celebrate, and stay up late to watch the game. Instead of recording it first, watch it when you are free in the morning. When the team loses, they complain and criticize the opponent of the team's loss, even if the opponent has the star they liked before. From the perspective of the team, it feels more comfortable to criticize him. It has caused quite a stir on the internet in China. Hupu, Saohu Sports, etc. Zhou Jixi is the headline. A line of large characters was written on the homepage of the website, followed by a domineering photo of him now, and a photo of him dunking, that they didn't know how to find. It can be called a treasure map to attract fans. Although there are no crazy fans joining the group, many fans who follow the Rockets have started to pay attention to the Warriors. Especially since Jay Chou has only been in the United States for a year and was a Chinese before, the Warriors have the ability to attract fans. Even though some fans will say that Jay Chou joined the American nationality to worship foreigners, this does not prevent some fans from liking him. Isn't it just watching the game and finding a favorite team? As for rising to the level of national hatred and family feuds, if that's the case, then don't watch NBA at all. Just stay at home and watch Chinese GB. If you don't worship foreigners, just don't watch it. What else is there to watch? Jay Chou's black fans completely won the forum battle under the continuous attacks of fans, especially the female basketball fans, who are not many in number, and with the help of male fans. On April 8th, Jay Chou plans to attend the Warriors away game against the Timberwolves. He had already been to the game the day before, and now this game is the most likely to be the game that Old Neil breaks the record. As the new owner of the team, he has been in the news for the past few days. He still needs to attract more media attention, increase exposure, and try to make more fans familiar with him and accept him. By the way, he also helps the candidate Mr. Brown to brush up his presence. This is also Mr. Brown, who finally used the remaining rest time to follow Jay Chou to brush up his presence. Jay Chou chartered a plane to send the players over. On the plane, he specially found Curry to chat for a few words. This baby-faced man really looks like a child. He was a little nervous when talking to Jay Chou, and it was a bit anxious for him to listen to him stumblingly. Curry, don't be nervous. I just want to talk to you for a few words. Jay Chou smiled and handed him a drink. You are the best rookie this year. I'm very fortunate that when I took over the Warriors, I had a potential player like you under my command. Thank you, boss. Curry was a little embarrassed by the praise. This is a fact. I always like to speak with facts. If you do well, then it is good. If you do not do well, I don't need to say it, everyone can see it. Jay Chou spoke in a domineering tone, as if this is the fact. Curry was really nervous again. For some reason, when facing Jay Chou, he could always remember his 10 billion fortune. When looking at him, the aura brought by his 10 billion fortune seemed really impressive. I've heard some rumors about the team recently, and I believe you know them too. Looking at Zhou Jixi's eyes, Curry nodded. I know something, and the team is also talking about it. You are very honest, Curry. This is an advantage. Keep it up. Zhou Jixi said with a smile. First of all, let me tell you one thing. You can rest assured that the Warriors will not give up on a player like you who has excellent potential. As long as you work hard, I believe that after the rookie period, you will get a very good contract, but I hope you will have the ability to get a new contract in the future. Curry was obviously stimulated by Zhou Jixi's words. His eyes look sparkling. Boss, do you really think I can do it? Of course, I believe that. If you have talent and are willing to work hard, how can you not succeed? When he said this, he was looking at Curry. The coaching staff and management have also shown me your report. Pay attention to the physical burden when practicing. I hope you will listen more to the coach's arrangements on this point. Our Warriors have recently formed an excellent team of doctors, and I believe you will get better care in the future. But before that, you have to at least take care of yourself. Curry nodded and agreed to Zhou. Chapter 806 Old Nelson breaks the record. P.S. I have to thank the good man I'm a pest for writing this paragraph about NBA. He gave me a lot of suggestions in the post, and I also got a lot of inspiration. I would like to express my gratitude here. The conversation went smoothly, and Zhou was also very satisfied. Then he chatted with Ellis for a few words. According to old Neil, this person may be cleared out. Now the situation has changed. It is not necessary to keep such a person, and Ellis is a person who will get the ball. Those superstars will not spoil him in this regard. Now he is still the boss of the team, and he will never be the same in the future. Moreover, this kid is not tall, and not very strong. He is not the person the Warriors need most now. After the three-pointer, there will be Bosch and Dirk. These two will become very good outside killers. Bosch is that he takes fewer shots, but has a high hit rate. Dirk is an all-round warrior. This German is a great person who can kill both inside and outside. Even this year's rookie Curry is a powerful guy in three-pointers. Center Yao Ming is not to mention. He is tall and heavy, and his defense under the rebounds is almost super data. If they play with James, they can play both small ball and big ball tactics. The team can immediately form a luxury team by adding some rebounding bandits and big players. With these, the player in front of him will be. So the situation has become a little different. It may be a good idea to trade him for draft picks and offensive players. According to old Neil, if the Warriors have James, Yao Ming, Bosch, and Dirk, they don't need to worry about firepower at all. As long as they cooperate with a good defensive player and some strong substitutes. After next summer, some people will see a different Warriors team. Zhou chatted with him for a few words. He also talked about two other players in the team. He didn't need to talk about the rest, because he had just arrived at the airport and he didn't need to talk nonsense with these people. This game is worth looking forward to. Zhou hopes to celebrate for old Nelson at this time, in this special period. He has secretly asked his assistant to buy a super big cake in order to celebrate his victory after the game. The number 1333 was specially written on it. This is the number of games that Nelson broke the record. He is already a history and will be a milestone. His name will remain in this world in the future, waiting for the people behind to surpass him. This is the best thing for someone who has been in the NBA for so many years. That is to put a record in front of everyone. After his death, it seems that he is saying to them every day, if you have the guts, break my record. The best thing is that this record can last for a long time. The worst thing is that this record was broken by someone not long after. So Zhou thought that Nelson still likes to win so much now, just to set his own benchmark higher and make it more difficult for others to surpass. This is good news for Zhou and the Warriors. After having so many halos, the coach who can still maintain this competitive mentality and has a positive attitude is the coach he needs most in his next team. The Timberwolves are not in a good situation this year. Zhou is sure that the Warriors can take him down today. This is exactly the case. Stephen Curry played very hard, and so did Ellis. Today is a memorable day dedicated to their head coach, old Nelson. Zhou sat on the tee and was very popular with the camera. There were shots of him from time to time. He also smiled gently and waved with the camera. He also gave a thumbs up and pointed to the Warriors uniform he was wearing. This also made the commentators in the commentary room start to tease him again. As the youngest boss in the league, he really deserves a different welcome. It seems that Zhou is very proud of the Warriors. Does he think they will win this game? Are the Timberwolves willing to be the head coach of the Warriors and have the back of old Nelson breaking the record? Said the commentator. That's not necessarily the case. The Warriors are in the lead in the game now. The substitutes in the third quarter also scored a lot of points against the Warriors. If you look at these Warriors guys, you will know why Jess Chow is so confident. Another guest also said, JC Chow always watched them play and actually wanted to try it himself. But today he was not destined to be the protagonist, but old Nelson. The game is over. The Warriors won. The commentator shouted loudly. The Golden State Warriors beat the Timberwolves 116-107 today. Although this victory has nothing to do with the impact on the playoffs, it also made their head coach Don Nelson win the 1,333rd victory in his coaching career, successfully surpassing Lenny Wilkens to become the first in NBA history. Another one also said in coordination. As an authoritative coach and general manager in the league, Don Nelson has been in the league for nearly 40 years and has coached the Bucks, Warriors, Knicks and Mavericks. He is considered an outstanding tactical master and innovator. He invented the concept of point forward, maintained the offensive tactical style of running and gunning, and created the controversial hack-a-shack tactics. He always uses unexpected tricks to win in the game. He is good at acquiring potential players and training newcomers through player trades. For example, Nowitzki and others have become talents under his training. After winning the 1,333rd victory today, Don Nelson became the coach with the most wins in history. He has won the title of the best coach in the league 3 times before. Among the active coaches, Jazz head coach Sloan's 1,188 wins and Lakers head coach Jackson's 1,095 wins rank second and third. The celebratory atmosphere, combined with the commentary, made many Warriors fans and NBA fans feel sincere admiration for this head coach who has been working on the court for several years with a full head of white hair. He really deserves it. Jay Chow pushed and celebrated with old Nelson first. For such a gesture of goodwill from the boss, old Nelson accepted it frankly. This new boss is not a good-tempered person. He understands that as a businessman, Jess Chow is obviously a qualified person and pays attention to benefits. He treats the useful ones well and gets rid of the useless ones immediately. The Warriors management immediately asked them to get out on the day he bought the team. It is a very business-like approach. Celebrating for him now makes him a little happy. At least it can prove that the head coach of his age is still a very useful coach and worthy of him doing so. Champagne cake, pairing carnival, these have nothing to do with the players. They still have to play. Jay Chow is also a boss. How can he mix with the players on these things? These are of course his own activities. The head coach originally planned to invite them, but the old guy is old and has white hair. Although the effect of his medicine should be able to make the old guy feel good, he thought about it and gave up. Chapter 807 Taylor Swift. The next day, Jay Chow was on the headlines again, both in the sports and news sections. He was handsome, and it was still very attractive for people to buy newspapers with pictures of him. But he was on the headlines of the entertainment section for no apparent reason. The first two things were understandable, as the Warriors were indeed worthy of being on the headlines yesterday, and it was normal for him to be on the headlines as a boss. But the entertainment section was a bit strange, as he didn't know what good news he had created recently. It was worth the paparazzi's attention, and it was worth the editors-in-chief applauding and agreeing to let him be on the headlines again. Looking at the newspaper brought by the assistant, there was a picture on the front page, and there were 3 people in the picture, one of whom was him, and the other was the fat cashier. The most important thing was that there was also a girl on the front page, and this girl was a female star. He looked carefully, and with the help of text, he knew that she was the country music singer Taylor Swift. Now let's analyze it. He was indeed in the photo, but the strangest thing was that there was also this girl. How come he didn't notice the female star? It seemed like she was just a girl. She was quite tall. Fortunately, she didn't wear high heels, otherwise Zhou height of 1 meter would have been overshadowed. The location was a small store. He knew it was here. He went to buy 2 boxes of condoms to replenish the recent stock. During this period, after leaving the farm and coming to the city, the consumption of condoms has obviously increased a lot. It's just that the female singer was standing next to him, but it was a ghost. He didn't pay attention to this at all. Recalling it, it seemed that there was indeed a woman standing next to him. She was a little evasive and kept getting closer to him. I don't know what angle she was looking for or what she was hiding from. Anyway, he didn't have the mind to think about this at that time. After all, buying condoms was still a little shy for him. His heart was beating very fast at that time, and his face was a little red. After all, he was not an American. People didn't have any strange expressions when they saw him buying this. They checked out, etc. On the contrary, he not only put on a basketball cap, but also a hood, and took out his hand to cover his mouth. If you don't know him, you might think he is trying to be cool, or trying to steal something. And Taylor was standing next to him. From his perspective, it seemed that he was waiting to pay. The most important thing is that the girl actually only bought a box of candy, but it was different in the photo. Zhou was holding a brand name condom, and Taylor was waiting next to him. Both of them were a little evasive, like thieves. What should they say? What else should they say? Without saying anything, the audience could immediately guess what they were going to do. Especially him wearing a hat. There is also a comparison photo of him in the gym, wearing the same style of clothes and the same hat. Even if the original secretly taken photo is not clear, with this photo attached, everyone knows that this person is Zhou. Taylor is no exception, and there is also a photo of the same style. The reporter did not release the following photos at all, and he got into his car. Taylor also got into her own car, and the two of them were not going in the same direction. Zhou couldn't help but curse after seeing the implicit meaning in the newspaper. He wasn't angry, but he had already had his mouth full of the smell of the sheep before he got to eat it. Fuck, I haven't even gotten to eat it yet, and you're saying I got to eat it? I'm so wronged. Huh. Zhou was upset and threw a tantrum on the sofa. The assistants wisely chose to ignore him and secretly walked out a few steps to avoid being discovered by the boss as an outlier. Zhou was not the only one who was upset, but the other girl was also upset. Her agent called her in the morning, and then her assistant brought her the newspaper. When she took it and looked at it, she immediately felt a little incredible. The angle here, plus the things he was holding in his hand, really made her feel like she was going to get there. This guy in a hoodie and a baseball cap is the 73rd richest man in the world. With a look of disbelief on her face, Taylor looked carefully and recalled the man at night in her mind. He was a little nervous when he bought a condom. At that time, she was amused and watched the excitement in her heart. She didn't expect that she would get her comeuppance today. Zhou has a net worth of $9.7 billion. What kind of person do you think he should be? Said the agent. I don't know, but one thing is certain, he will be the most handsome among those on the global rich list, Taylor said. But, do the young rich people now like to wear this style of clothes? Hoodies? These people's hobbies are really strange. The agent directly filtered out her nonsense complaints. He is a businessman, not a fashionista. The most important thing is to wear comfortable clothes. The pockmarked boy on Facebook. He is definitely the most famous representative figure among the current group of casual network workers. It's just that now, it seems that such a person has been added. He is still the youngest. Swift, we may have to issue a statement. What do you think? The agent asked. Taylor had thrown away the newspaper and took out a tablet to start surfing the internet. After typing in the name of Zhou, a bunch of his information popped up immediately. Taylor couldn't help but sigh after reading the news about sports, economy, entertainment, and even politics. Wow, it seems that you are quite popular recently. The girl looked at the tablet with interest and whispered, looking at the information of Zhou in the introduction and the photos taken from his space. The girl was really surprised. She didn't know there was such a person. It seemed that he was out of touch with society. In fact, if you count carefully, it's only a few days. There are a lot of news about Zhou in the media recently, but there are more things about her. She just ended her relationship with Little Wolfman. She is not depressed, but there are a lot of things to do. She is still holding a concert here and has a new album to be released. So they stopped paying attention to Zhou. TSK, what a great man. So handsome and so young. Oh my god, he's really a good boyfriend. The agent waited for Taylor to reply, but she didn't respond. He only heard the girl's whisper, but he didn't know what she was saying. Black, Swift, are you listening to me? I heard it. I can just make a statement on the internet. There is no need to hold a separate press conference. That will only increase my burden. I don't want to squeeze out a day to prepare a bunch of answers and memorize them and answer the questions of those reporters. The girl said. The agent thought about it and felt that this was indeed possible. It's not a big deal. In the absence of the photos behind, if you explain it, everyone will just treat it as gossip. They can deny being photographed entering and leaving the hotel. They are just buying things in a store. Okay, as soon as possible. The agent paused after speaking and then said, but this Zhou is indeed a good boyfriend option. Maybe you can really give it a try. Isn't he dating that Zhang? I just read his news. It seems that the female companions he brought to several events recently are all Zhang. Although Taylor thinks that Zhou is good if it is just for fun. Being the third party is obviously not something she likes. No, I have already checked it. The woman in the Chinese mainland denied this matter. I guess they may have been together. But obviously not the kind of relationship between men and women that can last, said the agent. This is indeed good news, Taylor said with a smile, and couldn't help but recall the way Zhou bought condoms last night and couldn't help laughing. What a lovely man. By the way, condoms. Taylor immediately thought of a possibility. Since he was able to buy condoms at night, it means that he had an event yesterday. And the event also shows another thing, that is, this man and Zhang should not be in a relationship. Otherwise, why would he buy condoms in the middle of the night? He logged on to Tomcat, which is very popular recently. The information on it said that Zhou only had accounts on Tomcat and Facebook. After logging in, Taylor quickly searched for Zhou. He found him and wrote, "Hey, have you read today's newspaper? It said we had sex last night." Zhou was also planning to check the internet, and the background message on his phone was also flashing. He checked it and saw that it was a message from Justin, the naughty kid. After Tomcat opened it, he saw the message sent by the naughty kid. "Brother, are you really with Taylor?" "No, this is the most unfair thing." After recovering, he checked and saw that many fans replied to his message, but most of them chose to ignore it. He wanted to write down his feelings and planned to publish it. "I read the newspaper today and found something very depressing. I was in the store yesterday and didn't find Taylor Swift standing next to me. What's more depressing is that someone said today that I had sex with her last night. God knows I slept alone yesterday." He now has more than 1 million fans, and soon this message was reposted and commented on. Justin Bieber, the naughty kid, forwarded a message from him. "Dude, did you see that? Tell me, what she said is true?" Zhou took a look and saw that the following was a post by Taylor Swift about having sex. "Oh my god, didn't I tell you a long time ago that I didn't have sex with him? The reporter only took photos of the store, and I didn't even know it was her." Then he saw Taylor at his message, and he @ed it back and replied, "I just saw it this morning. I didn't expect that there was a female star standing next to me. It's really a wonderful thing. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels." Chapter 808, Date. After this message was sent out, fans reposted it one after another, and Taylor also replied, "I didn't expect that I would be next to a Forbes rich man, and he's still so young." Zhou also replied, "Thank you for the compliment, but I'm a little sorry about what happened yesterday. Can I invite you to dinner?" After he sent this message out, Justin, the naughty kid, came again. "Brother, are you going to publicly date the country queen? Oh my god, is this considered online love? Naughty kid, go record it quickly, and when you have a girlfriend, discuss what dating is with me." Zhou replied without hesitation. Fortunately, Bieber's crazy fans already knew that he had such a rich friend. The two often interact on the internet, but they didn't start to blacken Zhou because of his words. Instead, they started a bunch of comments. Of course, there were also women who liked Zhou's face and money and expressed their desire to date him. He happily swiped Tomcat on his phone, and he also replied to some fans' comments. Taylor also responded quickly, "Of course, we can chat. I can see that you are a humorous guy." This sentence was immediately howled on the internet. The goddess who is already single has started dating. What else is more worthy of shouting than this? However, many of Jay Chou's crazy fans began to criticize Taylor. Don't doubt it, Jay Chou does have crazy fans. The world these days is not something you and I can easily understand. No matter how people criticize him, their date is settled. And the next day, this news was on the entertainment headlines again. Dating directly on the internet. Involving a billionaire, a country music queen, and a pop star. Not only did they hype up the incident, but they also hyped up Tomcat. In just one day, the number of registered users increased by 300,000. Tomcat, which was already increasing its users at a high speed, has exploded even more now. The topic report is equivalent to giving it another free advertisement. Gossip events have always attracted people, and Tomcat has this. Of course, the gossipers also need an account. The most important thing is that many zombie users have become active users. This is the most critical. In the past, many registered users were just zombies. Tomcat was underestimated because of this. People who have the Sky Game client have a universal Tomcat account, so it is very convenient to register. Now the Sky software platform has also come out, and Sky Game Company has also started to work on the software. Many Android phone users will download his software. This time, Tomcat's market value has increased a lot, and the media has always been the most sensitive. Immediately started a new report on this point, saying that Jay Chou's date has added tens of millions of dollars to his company. It can be said that the date with Taylor is the most valuable and the most profitable date. A simple date with this country song queen indirectly created tens of millions of dollars, and was regarded as a queen of wealth by the media. Since they were so close, he planned to have dinner with Taylor at the Sky City in Hollywood, Los Angeles, California in the evening. The woman also wanted to relax and taste the food well, so she set a time on the spot. When they went there, neither of them avoided the reporters. She brought 3 bodyguards, and Jay Chou brought 5 bodyguards, but they all stood outside to protect them. When they walked into the store together, a burst of flashes almost turned the scene into daylight. The two also waved to the reporters, and Jay Chou also imitated Taylor. "You seem to handle the media well." Taylor smiled and said a few words to him. "Can't you see that I'm just imitating you?" Jay Chou asked back. Just this one sentence made Taylor's stomach hurt from laughing, but she couldn't laugh too much. It was really hard to hold it back and laugh at the same time. She felt like she was pulling Jay Chou and ran into the Western restaurant. The atmosphere was very good at the beginning, and Taylor also looked at Jay Chou. He also looked at this girl in the same way. Her breasts were indeed not big. Compared with the big breasts of European and American girls, she was really small and delicate. It seemed that she needed to drink more papaya soup. This is what Jay Chou said to himself. It was a happy start. After they sat down, Jay Chou gave her a small gift. Taylor also had a small gift in her hand. When they took it out, they both laughed. Later, Jay Chou wrote her into the song. One of the lines was, "When we met, we had an unspoken understanding. We both received each other's gifts, and we both laughed happily." This sentence is obviously good, but the following one is obviously not popular. "So baby, I'm not good enough." If that sentence hurts you, the following one is obviously a cryptic story. This song also topped the US Billboard, and Jay Chou made the entertainment headlines again for this matter. But at that time, he was really a frequent visitor to the entertainment section, and the paparazzi had already liked this rich man who could create news and increase sales. Taylor took a bite of dessert, looked at Zhou and smiled. "I didn't expect that we would have a scandal in the morning and go out to eat together in the evening. This world is really amazing. I just think it's a pity for me that I didn't meet you yesterday. It's right to make up for the regret and do something that makes me happy, isn't it?" Zhou said. "Of course, I agree with you." Taylor agreed. Zhou's attitude towards life is very good, but she likes this side of life very much. Do what you like, and do it when you think of it. The two people are very similar in this regard, which is what attracts each other at this moment. Is this our first date? Zhao Jixi asked. Of course, it's a good date. I like this restaurant. Thank you. I'm just telling the truth. It's indeed a good date. I just want to thank you for praising this restaurant. Why? Taylor didn't react. JC Zhao opened his hand slightly. This is my restaurant. Most of the food is provided by my farm. In particular, the vegetables you eat may be grown by me personally. And those steaks are one of the most popular things on our farm. Taylor finally felt what it meant to be rich. When she came to a restaurant, he told her that this restaurant was actually his. It was one of them. And there was another time when she didn't get a seat here because the seat was reserved. She had to call a friend with connections before she could have a delicious meal in this sky city near Hollywood. And this delicious meal was really satisfying and unforgettable. In this mood, the person opposite you who was dating you for the first time told you that this restaurant was actually his. At this moment, the mood was very strange. Suddenly, I envied JC Zhao a little, even though she was already a small rich woman. Haha. It is indeed a great restaurant, and the steak you mentioned is also my favorite dish. Taylor suppressed her emotions and said with a smile. But, man, I want to say that you really live a great life. Haha. Jay Chou looked at her happily, pretending to be relaxed. This is a life I like. Next time, if possible, I hope you can go to my farm in Madrid-Posa County. I like to entertain friends with the food I cook. Justin Bieber always thinks that my food is very delicious. Taylor hesitated and agreed. Of course, as long as you invite me, I will definitely go. It may be a good experience. In the evening, the two of them ate and chatted in the restaurant, and their happy smiles were taken by many reporters. There were also reporters who sneaked in and secretly took 1 or 2 photos, but unfortunately they were quickly caught by security personnel and kicked out of the Sky City. In the beautiful San Francisco at night, Jay Chou politely sent Taylor back to the hotel. He didn't go up. The two of them were impromptu people. When they were in the mood, they had a meal together and made a date. Other things were basically impossible under the current circumstances. Otherwise, tomorrow's headlines would really be that Jay Chou hooked up with Taylor in one day and they rolled the sheets in the hotel at night. The woman doesn't want this reputation, and he doesn't want to bring her this kind of trouble. Tomcat Jess and Taylor had dinner together last week, and the selfie they took was quickly reposted on the internet. Both of them just said that they had a very happy dinner and met a new friend. However, compared with the popularity of the photos of the two people, the photos of the food served during the meal were also very popular. In 2010, everyone began to like to take pictures before eating. Taylor and Jay Chou are obviously loyal executors in this regard, especially Jay Chou. This is his restaurant, and it is the boss's job to promote it at any time. Now he is doing a good job. As expected, the two of them made the headlines of the entertainment section again, and the same is true on the internet. Jay Chou is even more popular in China. His photos can be seen in almost all entertainment programs. For example, the video players under several internet giants. The self-made entertainment programs in them will also take out a clip to talk about his relationship with Taylor Swift. Taylor, after the scandal between Jay Chou and Zhang Ziyi, as the male protagonist, he has been exposed by many people. Then there was an unexpected big shot, the one on the Forbes rich list, ranked 73rd, with a net worth of $9.7 billion. He was a Chinese American who had just immigrated to the United States. He rose in the United States in just 1 year and earned 6 times the wealth he had earned. This incident also caused a discussion. Chapter 809 Discussion and Unexpected Return to China. People have discussed with the media, and the most important point is whether Jay Chou could have earned a current net worth of more than $9 billion if he had not received the gift. Can he become the current Forbes rich man? The most important thing is Apple stock. This two fortunes worth $4 billion and Facebook worth $750 million are definitely nothing to do with him. The Sky game he owns was created by himself, as was Tomcat. And the current fairy watermelon seems to have been created when he was studying at Stanford. However, his success also confirms a saying that making money with money is the easiest thing. But even this point, many second generations in China still can't do it. For those who can go to prestigious universities in the United States, but come back like this, the **SI academic masters are even more resentful. Now many people think that they just don't have a good starting point. If they're like Jay Chou, maybe they can also earn as much money as he does. Jay Chou's popularity is enthusiastic both in the United States and in China. Even in other advanced countries around the world, people basically know about him. In the upper class and investment circles, he is a worthwhile object of study. Let's not talk about the discussion during this period. Jay Chou's ferocity in getting on the news pages is already amazing. The Warriors acquisition incident on the sports page occupied the headlines for a while. Then there were rumors on the internet that Jay Chou and Bieber came out together, and then the two of them teamed up to sue the newspaper that first reported it into bankruptcy, and it began to occupy the headlines again. Now there are rumors about him and the country queen, and then the two denied it. But they made an appointment to have dinner together, and then the next day they both made the headlines. What Jay Chou did was so good that even G Hyun in South Korea received the news. The woman was a little narrow-minded and didn't tell him about it immediately. But he was a man, and he could hear the woman's roundabout meaning. The most important thing was that he was guilty and paid special attention to the tone of this aspect. He explained it well and then comforted G Hyun. He changed the matter to a business angle, saying that he also encountered such a thing by accident, and then pushed it to his think tank. He said that this matter could be hyped up to increase the popularity of Tomcat and his own Western restaurant. The reality is that he did a good job and both were improved. G Hyun had also seen this report. According to the data reported by the evaluation agency, Tomcat claimed to have increased its market value by tens of millions of US dollars at once. G Hyun's mind was filled with the unknown number of hundreds of millions of won. This sight comforted him, and Zhou Jixi was already impatient to answer other calls in China. Fortunately, his friends are now used to seeing him on the internet, in media newspapers and magazines. Gradually, the phone calls asking about curiosity will not blow up. It was just a call, and he didn't speak immediately after answering it. We will hold a premiere on the 12th. Don't you, one of the producers, want to come and see it? Zhou Jixi received an invitation that he couldn't refuse. Zhu Jinglei called. Old Zhou also saw his news on the internet, and he no longer wanted to invite him. But now he saw his news again, and he wanted to invite him again. Women's strangeness is indeed not something men can understand. The silence did not last long. Zhou Jixi frowned and said, "The day after tomorrow? Damn, why did you tell me now? I saw that you, Mr. Zhou, seemed very busy a few days ago, so I was embarrassed to disturb you. But now I see that Mr. Zhou is still free to date a beautiful girl, so I think he will be free to come to my invitation." Zhu Jinglei's voice was soft, but he frowned and felt a little chilly. Taking a deep breath, Zhou Jixi did not dare to exhale into the phone. He covered his breath with his hand, and after exhaling, he calmed down and said, "Sister Jinglei invited me. Of course I'm free. I was not free a few days ago. That was a hype plan given by my think tank. It just happened to take advantage of my recent frequent appearance in the news to increase the popularity of my company. The lie was told once, and it was easier to tell it again. As for the current effect, it seems to be quite good." He added at the end. Zhu Jinglei was indeed a little surprised, but only a little. Haha. It seems that Mr. Zhou, you are not from the entertainment industry, but you know a lot about hype. I admire this very much. Zhou Jixi seemed to hear a hint of sarcasm, but mixed with other emotions. It was not easy to identify what she wanted to say, so he could only continue according to his own script. As a businessman, I can make money without breaking the law. I don't care too much about vulgarity or elegance. The company plans to raise funds, so of course I have to maximize the benefits. I have been short of money recently. Zhu Jinglei pondered this sentence. Okay, don't tell me about business. I, a literary youth, will teach you a few more times and you will become a businessman. Her voice became warmer. Does that mean you will come? Yes, of course. Sister Jinglei, you are a female literary youth. I want to teach you to be a businessman, but I don't have the skills. Zhou Jixi's speech also became more casual because of her attitude. Okay, I'll pick you up when I return home as soon as possible. Let's not talk anymore. I'm hanging up first. Zhao Jixi was talking on the phone, and there was only a busy tone. He put down the phone with a wry smile. This matter has caused a lot of trouble, and he has offended others. Why does he feel like he is a head shorter when talking? Could it be because he knows that she will definitely know about his relationship with Zhang Ziyi? Domestic news is all over the place, and Zhu Jinglui obviously knows about it. Zhao Jixi is not to the point where he needs to cover up the truth, so his speech just now was inevitably a head shorter. Forget it. Doesn't this prove that brother is a good person? Brother has a conscience? He muttered to himself and nodded. Yes, otherwise why would I feel a little guilty? A little guilty? Sure enough, I'm a good person. Zhao Jixi was particularly happy after coming to the conclusion. Buy a ticket to the capital of China tonight or tomorrow. An urgent business invitation will be available soon. The invitation letter from China will be sent to your mailbox later. Go and get it. Zhao Jixi turned around and said to the assistant not far away. The woman nodded and responded, then went to do her business. He was going to China just in time to pick up the child and his parents. They had been waiting for them for so long, and he actually had to go to China. Are there any parents who don't worry about their son? Zhao Jixi called his Blue Sky Security Shield company and asked several of his security consultants. The one who didn't take a break was Raymond. The big black guy took a team of people to pack up and go to China with him. Chapter 810 Zhu Jinglui comes to pick me up at the airport. The next day, Zhao Jixi took a morning flight and flew directly to the capital of China. He had stayed in the space for a while last night, and he was in good spirits after coming out. He could sleep directly on the plane, and when he woke up, he had already arrived in China. He pulled open the blanket that the stewardess had put on him and stretched his body. This is the most enjoyable flight. I arrived as soon as I woke up. I have to keep up the good work next time. Puff. After Zhao Jixi stood up, the person next to him could also hear what he said. He immediately covered his mouth and laughed softly, but he heard and saw it. The woman also saw Zhao Jixi looking at her. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I just think your idea is very good. Zhao Jixi looked at her, and she looked pretty good. But she didn't leave a good impression on him. He is not the kind of person who can't move when he sees a beautiful girl. His tone is a bit stiff, but he still said politely, I accept your apology, and thank you for your compliment. It's my fault. The woman was not unhappy. People who can sit in the first class must not be simple characters. What's more, her smile just now attracted the attention of several people, which would indeed make the man opposite feel embarrassed. Being able to recognize mistakes is a kind of progress. You are better than me in this respect. After Zhao Jixi finished this sentence, he sat down and had no intention of having an encounter with her. Originally, he just got up and encountered this matter, not to mention that he was still a little angry after getting up. Although he was polite at this time, he was still very stiff, and he was not as slick as usual. Seeing him like this, the woman stopped talking, quietly stuck out her tongue, and put on her ears to listen to music. Anyway, in a few minutes, the two of them would not meet again. Zhao Jixi got off the plane with a group of bodyguards and 2 assistants. The woman happened to see his group from a distance. She was happy that she had not made a fuss just now. This man really looked not simple. But, it's too stingy. If you have some interest in me, shouldn't you forgive a girl's accidental recklessness and take the opportunity to have a chance encounter with me? The woman said to herself, touching her face with her hand. It seems that I have to make more facial masks. When a woman reaches a certain age and doesn't take care of herself, even the little privileges in front of men are not useful. Zhao Jixi didn't ask Zhu Jinglui to take advantage of the opportunity, but just sent him his own flight. He has asked Sky Investment to pick him up at the airport, and the hotel has been arranged. He can just check in directly, which is more convenient. But, there are always some surprises. His cell phone rang. Good guy, Jess. Oh, no. It should be Mr. Zhou now. Mr. Zhou, you come just like that, and bring such a large group of people. It's really impressive. TSK 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 TSK. Zhu Jinglui's voice came from the phone to his ears. Zhao Jixi was surprised for a moment, then his eyes began to scan where Zhu Jinglui was. Sister Jinglui, don't call me Mr. Zhou. Mr. Zhou. That's too strange. How familiar am I with you? No, I mean, I'm also a financial sponsor and a producer and investor of your movie. You have to call me Mr. Zhou. Calling me Mr. Zhou is too strange. Zhao Jixi said. You. Zhu Jinglei didn't expect him to say that at all, and she could only swallow the next sentence she had prepared. He had to be silent for a while before saying, Zhao Jixi, you have guts. Just kidding. Don't, Sister Jinglei, don't get angry. Zhao Jixi said with a smile. Didn't I say I wouldn't bother you to pick me up? Why do you have to make another trip? The traffic situation in the capital is like this, and girls are too tired. You still have some conscience. Zhu Jinglei said, I said I would pick you up when you come back, and I'll keep my word. After saying that, he paused and looked at Zhao Jixi, who was still looking for him, in the corner on the right. What kind of eyes are you looking at? Bad eyes, bad eyes. I didn't see your peerless grace, I'm sorry. Zhao Jixi begged for mercy. Hurry up, if you are recognized, it will be difficult to leave. Zhu Jinglei waved at him. Hat, sunglasses, mask, really everything. I have to thank the air quality in the capital. At least wearing a mask when going out will not feel too prominent. He secretly complained that it was a miracle that he could find her immediately after she dressed like this. Okay, I'll be there soon. Zhao Jixi said, then turned back to Raymond and said, you guys drive behind me, I'll take her car. Okay, boss. Zhu Jinglei asked Zhao Jixi about the hotel he booked and was about to send him to the Four Seasons Hotel. Sitting in the car, the two of them were a little awkward. Zhao Jixi secretly took a breath and broke the dullness. How are you doing recently? It's okay, just living day by day. Zhu Jinglei looked at the front of the car with deep eyes, and her hands were on the steering wheel. She stepped on the accelerator with more force, and then stepped on the brake. With ups and downs, Zhao Jixi was bumpy. He didn't say anything immediately, but glanced at the woman's expressionless face, and then whispered, drive slowly, safety is the most important. I know. Zhu Jinglei said lightly. What do you know? Damn it, a woman's face is really like the weather in June, and it changes as soon as it changes. Zhao Jixi secretly complained in his heart. Did you see the billboard of Zhang Ziyi just now? The photographer took a good picture. The tone of praise, combined with the expressionless face, is indeed a good actor. The voice and expression can be out of sync, and it is done so well. Zhao Jixi's heart jumped. Sure enough, this matter was made. Isn't it said that everyone should not be like this? Can't women be more trustworthy? I didn't pay attention. I was thinking about what to talk to you just now. Zhao Jixi said. Kissing at the airport, it's very high profile. Zhu Jinglei continued, I often hear a sentence recently, I think it's not bad. Zhao Jixi didn't take the burden. Seeing that she had no one to support her, she didn't want to continue. Zhu Jinglei is worthy of being an actor and director. She can still perform without props. Show affection, die quickly, take it as a warning. What can he say at this moment? It feels like a group of crows are calling him on his forehead. Didn't you kiss too? I watched the trailer, and it was shot quite passionately. It's good to be a director yourself. You can get a lot of benefits. Zhao Jixi also said. It's okay. If there are no benefits in this line of work, who wants to be busy like a dead dog every day? Zhu Jinglei said calmly. But his figure is not as good as yours. Are you a little proud of this? The smile on the woman's face made Zhao Jixi confused again. What on earth did this mean? Chapter 811. It's unspeakable. Chapter 811. Of course, her figure is not as good as his. Those who are this tall or that tall are still like poles. How can you be as strong as him? He looks full of strength and security. You will be able to see how I shoot tomorrow. I look forward to it. After arriving at the Four Seasons Hotel, Zhao Jixi casually invited her. Originally, he thought the woman would refuse, and he was just being polite. Who would have thought that she agreed? Just agreed like that. Time passed quickly. It was already early in the morning, and Zhao Jixi stood by the window of the hotel with his little brother. He looked back at the lying woman. What did I say? No, we are just here to attend the premiere. Why can't you control yourself? Zhao Jixi was angry, but his voice was very small, and his finger was still pointing at his little brother, which looked a bit like a non-physical performance. After secretly smoking a cigarette, he returned to bed. At this moment, no matter how you look at it, it seems that he was raped, and he has to be careful when lying down. In the morning Zhou was dazed and muffled a sound in his throat. He found that his little brother was held in someone's hand. He opened his eyes dazedly and saw Zhou looking at him. I was busy doing things yesterday, and I didn't ask. Zhang Ziyi has a good figure? Sister Jingleri, it's early in the morning, can we not make a fuss? Zhao Jixi was a little grumpy after getting up, but he still spoke to the woman gently. He reached out and hugged her closer and let her lie on his muscular chest. Zhu Jingleri played with little Jixi, tightening and loosening her fingers, which made Zhao Jixi active again. In addition, morning is a time of high temper, and the sleepiness disappeared in vain. He turned over and pressed the woman under him, looking at her sexy collarbone and beautiful face. I don't know what her figure is like, but I know your figure very well. As he said this, he had already held her plumpness in his hand and played with it in his hand, changing the shape. His fingers teased the bump, and his mouth had already imprinted on her lips. The two of them started kissing again without brushing their teeth in the morning. Zhao Jixi had to admit that kissing without brushing teeth did cause some bad breath. He suggested that he chew gum or brush his teeth in the future, or touch his mouth a few times to freshen his breath, which would be much better for the mood. The two of them fooled around for a while in the morning, and Zhu Jingleri had to get up. She still had a lot of things to do tonight, and she had to check on her subordinates and partners in the afternoon. As for Zhao Jixi now, she probably didn't have time to pay attention to herself. She would talk for a long time as soon as a phone call came in, and they are still talking now. Jay Chou was lying on the bed with his bare chest, talking on the phone. Tell those guys, if they want to talk, just follow my requirements. Another point is that the price is different now. My final bottom line is $3 billion US. Haha, man, we have a saying in China that this is a different time. If you don't accept it, don't show up in the A round of financing. He was silent for a while, listening to the conversation on the phone, but the expression on his face slowly became a little disdainful. Twitter, you're talking to me about Twitter? The tomcat I founded will soon be able to catch up with his number of users. What does he think he is? The most important thing is that I'm already shirtless and involved in gossip, and you let those idiots at Twitter follow suit. Fuck. The expression on Jay Chou's face became a lot better because he vented some of his emotions. $300 million US in the first round is just the amount. If you want more, wait for the B round of financing. I can't compare with Facebook, but I don't think it will be much different. My think tank has discussed that the B round will definitely double, and this is based on $3 billion US. I'm not someone who has to talk about dreams. I like to find a professional management team. I believe you have also investigated the Tomcat team now. I have poached talents from many companies to form an elite team. Because of this, I'm now on the blacklist of many companies. The person on the other end of the phone was really impressed by his shameless words. Jess Chou has always loved poaching talents. His disdainful tweets are the most ruthless poaching for him, strengthening himself and attacking his opponents. This new member of the Shark Gang and the Apple board of directors, the guy who is known as a blood-sucking parasite, even talked to him about being on someone else's blacklist. It was really the funniest joke he heard today. The latest data on Tomcat's user growth and online activity will be out soon. I've already taken a look at it. The zombie users that you used to belittle are now being unblocked. Coupled with Tomcat's profitability, if I don't raise the price now, how can I be a qualified businessman? Zhao Jixi's tone became slower and slower when he said this. We have always had a pleasant cooperation. I believe in the old strength of Bank of America. An underwriting volume of 100 million is the most I can give. A bunch of people from the Chinese American Federation are blocking me for financing. Ale from Apple's board of directors came to talk to me in person. Jobs meant the same thing. Several people from Apple stock foundations also hope to come in. I can squeeze out this little bit, except that some people need to wait and see, and I have been delaying it. We are all friends, so it's not easy for me to refuse. Besides, I'm not short of money. He paused here and said, okay, although I owe your bank $1.8 billion US, if you want, I can pay you back. I'm not short of money. It seemed like someone was explaining something over there. Zhu Jinglei took a look and saw Zhao Jixi started talking again. Okay, I know, you certainly don't mean that. I promise to give up 20% of the shares in the B round of financing, and 10% of them will be given to you for underwriting. As for the prospects, I believe that it will exceed 10 billion, which will be a good performance for you. When it comes to the C round of financing, the D round, and the final listing, I think you will become a new rich man. If you have money, I can also leave you a share of the shares in the A round of financing. Consider it. There seemed to be a lot of silence on the other side. Zhu Jinglei saw that the man on her bed listened to him and said twice and then ended. Zhao Jixi hung up the phone. After he finished speaking, Zhu Jinglei had already put on a bathrobe. Have you finished the call? Yeah. I made a decision recently, and I guess there will be a lot of calls coming in later. Zhao Jixi nodded and said, Zhu Jinglei has never seen a business worth billions of US dollars. Especially when such a young person talks about this kind of thing. It seems that in this world, apart from Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, there is Zhao Jixi in front of him. The two greatest ethnic groups in the world, the young people of the Han and Jewish ethnic groups. They are also the people with the most wealth in this age group on this planet. Thinking about her investment of several million or tens of thousands of dollars, which was in Chinese currency, she used to think it was quite a lot, but compared with Zhao Jixi, it was really dark. You business people also want to copy gossip? Zhu Jinglei's little thoughts came out. Zhao Jixi knew what she wanted to say. I'm not a special case. The Trump family is good at hype. I'm just young, and I have a good appearance. These are advantages that other rich people don't have, so the think tank thinks that it is not bad to at least increase my popularity. And I'm helping one of the candidates for California governor recently, so I need to help him increase his popularity and attention. Is this related to politics again? Zhu Jinglei was really surprised. She didn't have complicated emotions like Zhang Ziyi. It was just surprise, but more of a shock at his ability. It's just a matter of killing several birds with one stone. Not only can it increase my fans and influence, it can also do some publicity for several of my companies and contribute to the election. It's a very cost-effective plan, Zhao Jixi said while holding her in his arms. Your circle is really messy, Zhu Jinglei said jokingly. What's going on between you and that country girl and Zhang Ziyi? Is it hype? Zhao Jixi smiled bitterly in his heart. How could he not avoid it? He pursed his lower lip. So, Tenna's incident was indeed an accident, and then it was hyped up by the way. Zhu Jinglei's expression moved. I see. She stood up and said, I'm going to take a shower first. I'm going to see the scene later. Will you come with me? Isn't it enough to attend in the evening? I'll go in the afternoon. Zhao Jixi didn't follow him. It was obviously not a good choice to go up at this time. Besides, what about the Mandarin duck bath? He had already taken it countless times. It was just like that, not very interesting. The shower in the bathroom was already turned on. Zhu Jinglei didn't close the door. She first rinsed her head, then wiped off the water stains on her face and let the water hit her back. Then he said, I think what you said just now is good. In China, Jess, you are quite famous. I will also hype you up. What do you think? He was really bitter. One lie was indeed made up by countless lies. Since he said that the recent news was hyped up by himself, he could only chat with women in this way and within the language environment. Of course, we also invested in this movie. I can make a contribution to myself and you. How can I not be willing to do such a good thing? Zhao Jixi agreed immediately. The situation of the two people is very strange. When he returned to the United States, it seems that the two have broken up, and they have not even been together at all, just had sex. Recently, Zhu Jinglei didn't know what was wrong, and called him back. Anyway, this time, the woman's mood is a bit strange. Jealous? Is it necessary to be jealous of him? She doesn't seem to be such an irrational woman. She is so emotional. He is sensitive. This woman seems to be a little heartbroken. Did she break up with a man? Thinking of this at this moment, he was surprisingly similar to the feeling in his heart when he watched the passionate scene she filmed in the trailer of the movie Dulala. There was no jealousy or resentment at all, but there was a little spiritual relaxation. Chapter 812, Cinema Group Buying Website. Just like a person who has done something wrong, he suddenly realized that others are not so good either, and he felt relieved. Anyway, he is the one who has taken advantage of them now. If someone is heartbroken or something, and uses him as a healing device, then he should help them. He doesn't have to pay for taking advantage of him, but he should at least give him an equivalent return. Zhou Jinglei treats his little brother, and he treats her injured heart. It would be better to use the interface of the chest to get close to the position of the heart and treat it a few times. Zhou Jinglei was silent again. Zhao Jixi couldn't grasp the emotions of this woman. I heard that you have invested in many theaters in China? Yes. My investment team thinks that the market of the Chinese film market will only get bigger and bigger. I'm just playing around with making movies and investing in movies. To be honest, I don't know much about it. But the movie theater is simple. No matter what movies you let in, we will show more if they are good to sell, and less if they are not. As long as the market doesn't collapse, the initial investment will definitely make money. Zhao Jixi said. I'm applying for a cinema chain license with a few friends now, and it's expected to be done soon. The last time I received news, it will probably be done by the end of the month. By then, we will discuss and unite, and a large cinema chain will be established. If your next movie is going to be released, my cinema chain will arrange a good schedule for you. Zhou Jinglei, what about this time? You have quite a few screens in the first tier and second tier cities in the south, and some in the north and several major cities in China. Don't you plan to schedule more films this time? Schedule, of course. I also invested in the movie, not to mention that you directed and acted in it yourself, so we have to support you. Don't worry, everything has been arranged. Zhao Jixi said. You have a conscience. Zhou Jinglei's tone was also much happier. I heard from Zhang Yibei that your cinemas in FJ province and GD province have all opened in the county town. Is that necessary? As she spoke, she had already started to apply shower gel. Zhao Jixi was a little proud when talking about this. You don't understand this. Of course it is necessary. The consumption capacity of towns in the southern coastal areas may not be high, but the county town is equivalent to the consumption capacity of the population of several surrounding towns. There are only 1 or 2 cinemas in a county town at most. Young people are getting more and more particular about dating. Even middle school students can afford to spend 30 or 40 yuan to go to a movie together. Not to mention the new generation of consumers born in the 1980s. Now that I have occupied the position, I can look forward to the future. Besides, there are still many profitable cinemas in the county town. Compared with the fierce competition in the city, the county town is very stable. The most important thing is that the county town can also develop the group buying website I invested in, increase the number of users, and make a profit by selling the website in the future. This in and out not only makes the money lost by the cinema back, but also makes money for development. Group buying website? Zhou Jinglei didn't understand this thing very well. It seemed that many group buying websites had indeed emerged this year. After rinsing, she was wiping it with a bath towel. She walked out, looked at Zhao Jixi's face, wiped her hair, and continued to listen to him. It's just a bunch of people going to buy things. I provide a platform, and then with a large number of people, I can lower the price with the merchants. It's similar to the model of Groupon in the United States. The most important thing is that I only sell movie tickets for 20 yuan on the website now. It's attractive enough. So cheap. Zhou Jinglei was really surprised, put down the bath towel, picked up the lace panties, and put them on. Then she started to put on the bra. Zhao Jixi also smiled and went over to help her buckle it and handed the pants to her. Thank you. Zhou Jinglei thanked her. He nodded, sat on the sofa, and watched the woman put on jeans, and her hips wrapped up became more and more stylish. He also began to explain, it's better to be cheaper than leaving seats empty in the cinema. Even if the seats are empty, the movies will still be shown, and I can't get a dime back. As long as there are people sitting in the seats, no matter how much he charges, it's all for nothing. At most, there will be a little more garbage. How much does it cost to hire a cleaning lady? We can't let them get paid for nothing. You Huang Shiren, you are so rich, but you still care about the money of the cleaning lady. Zhou Jinglei was putting on her shirt. Zhao Jixi went to help her get her hair out from the back. This has nothing to do with being rich or not. Forget it, let's not talk about this. He paused and slapped the buttocks in jeans with his hand. Pa. There was a crisp sound. The most important thing is what I just told you, the group buying website. Zhou Jingle's buttocks were attacked, and she rolled her eyes at him, but his words were quite attractive, so she stopped her means of revenge, and continued to listen to him. The website can help me sell movie tickets, and cheap movie tickets can attract members for the website. The more people there are, the more valuable the website is. There are hundreds or thousands of group buying websites in China, and I have invested in almost 100 of them. But according to the current market value growth of group buying websites, as long as they radiate to cities and surrounding towns, they are worth tens of millions. When they develop to provincial capitals, the price will increase several times. If they reach several provinces, including Beijing, Shanghai and Guangzhou, the value can reach hundreds of millions. If I sell a group buying website that radiates to several provincial capitals, I can get back more than half of the investment money. The rest will be sold depending on the situation, and this money is a guaranteed profit. For example, movie tickets, KTV coupons, hot pot, Western restaurants, etc. With this channel network, I can immediately build a city-level group buying website. I sell one here, and invest in another one there. After providing movie tickets, it will immediately be worth millions. Hot money in the Chinese internet is too easy to make. My investment team in the United States is now almost all in China to invest. If you look at our results, there are websites going bankrupt and closing down every week in the southern market, and 1 out of 3 of them is the one I sold my shares in. Zhou Jingli was a little confused by what Zhao Jixi said. How could he say that the money was so easy to make? She worked so hard to make a movie, but others helped to build a website and sold it immediately after it was fattened up the next day. As for what would happen after the sale, seeing his expression, it had nothing to do with him. Many people in China know about the models Zhao Jixi talked about, and there are many people doing it. Otherwise there would be hundreds or thousands of websites competing. It's just that the money is really easy to make, and many wealthy people in other industries have money to invest in it to try it out. In addition, the hot money in real estate is no longer easy to circle, and a lot of funds have also moved to internet projects. Many of them lost money, and only a few can make money. Under Zhao Jixi's investment team, there is a person who is already very skilled in the business. People often come to him to attract investment. In a few months, he opened several group buying websites, opened one and sold one, and invested in the sky. After a few months, he became a millionaire. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.